neither team has been able to claim domination of in the past 4 seasons. Each team has won twice, and neither team has won 2 straight games during that same 4-year span. After an 0-2 start this year, William Penn rattled off 3 straight wins, and we're hoping to celebrate homecoming last week with a 4th. Unfortunately, Hodson had other plans as the Silver Eagles held the Colonials to just 59 yards of total offense in a 24-8 victory to drop the Colonials down to the 500 mark at 3-3 and set up most likely is a must-win situation here today if they have any hopes of making the playoffs. Salesianum is also coming off a loss, their second of the season. The now 4-2 Sals jumped out to a 13-0 start here at Baynard Stadium a week ago tonight against top-ranked Middletown, only to see the Cavaliers score 19 unanswered points to secure the come-from-behind victory. Marty, welcome back to the booth for the second straight week. We have a game matching up 2 of the top teams in the state. While Sally's has some room for error, the Colonials, not officially, but they have to feel like their backs are against the wall if they want to play past Week 10.
That's right. We're more than halfway through the 2017 season now. We're finally starting to get a look at the developing playoff picture. Unfortunately, it's one of those old Polaroid pictures our moms use from the 80s that take forever to develop. So right now it's nothing but a big bright blur right now. In both D1 and D2, pretty much everything is still up in the air from participants to seedings. Tonight, however, we do have a game that could go a long way toward clearing things up for both of these teams. For Sally's tonight, it provides an opportunity to secure a win over another playoff contender while establishing some much-needed confidence after last week's agonizing, as you mentioned, 19-13 loss to Middletown. The Sals sometimes are a frustrating team to figure. I always think it must be frustrating to be a fan of the Sals. On the one hand, you have a team that's in the hunt every year. They're always in the playoffs, and they enjoy more built-in advantages than any other in the state. On the other, you have a team that often looks really predictable and has, frankly, fallen behind the programs at Middletown and Smyrna. Tonight's a chance for this Sal's team to regroup and start to work on certain aspects of their game that they'll have to improve come playoff time if they have a chance of knocking off the Big Two. For William Penn, in keeping with the time of the year, tonight's really trick-or-treat time for them. The hallmark of the Marvin Dooley era has been strong line play, and that just hasn't been the case this year, as Marvin himself has even said to us. The Colonials have struggled, and truthfully, they were dominated on the lines in their losses to Middletown, and to me, more surprisingly, last week to newly minted Division I member Hodgson. A loss tonight would not only drop the Colonials under 500 with a tough game remaining with St. George's, but also saddle them with what I would say is that dreaded and a shot at another state title.
Well, William Penn has 9 titles, one under Marvin Dooley, one back in 2014, which was just his second season. They made the playoffs that year for the first time since 2002. They've been in the playoffs ever since, including the semifinal appearance last year when they went 10-2, lost 48-0 to Smyrna in the semi. So they're, of course, itching to get back to the state championship, yes. But they realize before you do that, you got to get to Week 11 of the football season, which is, of course, the first weekend of the state tournament. All right, let's take a look at some of the action last week and go over our top 10. The top 10 is put together by Brad Myers of the News Journal. We appreciate him doing that and look forward to that every week. I always talk about Brad's, Brad does great work all week long on all the sports, but his Tuesday column especially is one I enjoy reading. He's always got 4 or 5 tidbits of information that I don't know about, and so it always certainly helps us with our broadcast, and it's a great read. So if you're only going to read one thing all week, tune in on Tuesday, Delaware Online, or pick up the print edition of the News Journal and read Brad Miles' column on high school football. All right, no change in 1, 2, or 3. Middletown, Smyrna, and Sally's, or Sussex Central for that matter, and Hodson, the top 5, stays exactly where they are. Sussex Central, the only team with a loss last week, of course, losing to Smyrna in a game that was close at halftime and ended up being a blowout. So, Marty, you look at those top 5 teams. Is there anybody you'd switch, bumping somebody up ahead of somebody else, or is that pretty much what you're looking at as the top 5?
There really isn't, and it really kind of sorts itself out. I mean, you have Middletown, who's the clear-cut number 1. They've shut out a pretty good William Penn team. you have a Hodgson team that's been on fire, but they've only been on fire since their opening night loss against number 4 Sussex Central, the team ranked right above them. Salesianum is going to get their shot at Smyrna a little later in the season, but Smyrna, I know it was the game that you and Marvin did last week. Every time I think I've seen everything from Will Knight, he does something else that's just unbelievable. Every team in the state is keying on him, and the kid continues to produce outstanding numbers. So right now, no, 1 through 5, I'd leave them right where they were.
And you mentioned Will Knight. Here's a couple stats from last week's game: 7 touchdowns, 330-plus yards. He takes him up to 5,610 yards for his career, leaving him just 591 shy of Laurel's Chris Jones, who set that record of 6,201. I believe it was back in the 2011 season, if I'm not sure. I had that written down on another piece of paper, but it's been a while. Maybe even
Is that weird that neither one of us really know this kid? I never heard of the kid
never
while he
heard
was
of
playing, and all of a sudden he has the state record for rushing.
And actually, that's why I think it was probably 2001, before social media and before 302 Sports and before Fox Sports 1290, and all these guys were doing the games back then. But here's what he's done in 2017. He's only played in 5 games because he missed 1 because of an injury. He's averaging 256 rushing yards a game, and he's got 20 touchdowns, so he's averaging 4 a game. Just an incredible performance thus far for Will Knight, the All-State running back who's back for his senior year, obviously heading to the University of Delaware next year. So just an incredible performance by him last week. All right, coming in at number 6 is Polytech. They jump up 1 spot after beating Laurel. William Penn fell down to the number 7 spot. They're at 3-3. They lost to Hodgson, and of course take on Salesianum tonight. Sussex Tech at 3-3. They beat Dover, and then they host Caesar Rodney tonight. That'll be an interesting game. Caesar Rodney playing better than a lot of people thought. They're at 3-3. They had a dominating win down at Cape Henlopen in a game I believe was played pretty much in the pouring rain.
Yes.
Cape actually had 2 runners go over the 100-yard mark for the first time in forever. St. George's comes in at number 10. Of course, they're new to Division I this year, along with Hodgson, not having quite the success Hodgson's having. They scored 21 points in the second and third quarters to run away from a struggling Newark Yellow Jacket squad. St. George's plays at Concord tomorrow morning. Anybody missing from that top 10, Mario, you'd plug in there, or you think it looks pretty solid? Once again, nobody fell out of the top 10 for what I think is the 3rd week in a row.
No, I think it looks pretty solid, and you and I were talking about this before we went on the air. I mean, this is one of those years where it's just so much fun to follow what's going on. You have the 7 through 10 teams all at 3-3. You have Sussex Tech and Caesar Rodney playing a virtual elimination game tonight. You have St. George's that's still going to play this William Penn team down the line. So you've got all these top teams that are going to knock each other off. It's almost like, the college football season. Everybody starts talking about the playoff in week 6. Well, everything changes in the next 4 weeks. And that's why I love, aside from those top 4 teams, there's going to be so much battling going on for those 5 and probably the 5 and 6 spots. You got to think Hodgson is got Middletown coming up. That's not going to be an easy game at the end of the season. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be an absolute dogfight for that 4, 5, 6 seeds.
Well, and speaking of that, William Penn, and we were talking about this off the air before the game. If William Penn can pick up a win tonight, they've got 3 very winnable games to finish up. Sally's, on the other hand, if they were to lose tonight, they go play a Westminster team in Maryland that nobody knows anything about, quite frankly. But then they have to play Smyrna, and then they have to play St. Mark's, which is, albeit as a Division II team. But remember, St. Mark's was in the Division I semifinals 3 years ago. So
you know what?
It could flip very quickly.
You're right. I watched some film of St. Mark's since the game we did against Caravel, where I don't think they could have looked any worse.
Right.
They are a completely different team. Jelani Bryant is gaining a world of confidence at the quarterback position. I would not put it out of the realm. If they come into that game with a chance at a D2 playoff spot on the line possibly, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, that's a strong team with a very strong coaching staff.
Well, and even if there's not a D2 playoff spot on the line, there definitely will be a D2 home playoff spot on the line. So that game will mean a lot to St. Mark's. And if Sally's, even with a win tonight, if they lose to Smyrna, they'll enter that game with 3 losses. And it may not be a playoffs or not game situation, but again, it could be between a home playoff game and not for the Souths. All right, let's take a look at Division II. Wilmington Friends anointed the number 1 team for the first time all year after Milford cut Woodbridge's winning streak at 18. Friends is at 4-1. They beat St. E's. They're at Tatnall tomorrow afternoon. Nothing makes me think that they're going to come away with anything but a win there. A.I. DuPont joining the Division II for the first time in school history. They're 6-0. They beat Glasgow in overtime. I think there was a total of 6 points scored in that whole. I forget the score, but it was
6-0.
not 6-0. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. They host a Howard team. That's going to be an interesting game. It's at AI. Howard, if AI wins, they probably are going to go undefeated. Last time they went undefeated, they went 10-0 and got upset by St. Mark's. When I think it was Chris Jones was playing quarterback, he went on to play safety at Boston College.
Right.
I think that it was Chris. It was a Jones for sure. But either way, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. DMA at number 3. They beat Archmere. They host St. Mark's here tomorrow night, and what a lot of people are saying is the game of the weekend.
I agree, yeah. Delaware Military Academy's got to be one of the surprises of the season. We saw them absolutely torch St. Elizabeth's. Karan Aline is scoring touchdowns in every way you can imagine. They're one of those teams that, I would probably say I think you could make an argument. I know Brad Myers moved Wilmington Friends up simply because they were number 2 and number 1 loss. I think you could make an argument for AI DuPont and Delaware Military for number 1. That's how good the top of Division II is right now. You've got Wilmington Friends, you've got AI, you've got DMA. I wouldn't count Woodbridge out. I mean, they did have the bad game, but they're still one of the best teams. Milford has an outstanding defense at number 4. So, yeah, everything's up for grabs in D2 right now.
I might pick St. Mark's if you ask me right now who's going to win the Division II state championship. I'd have a hard time not picking St. Mark's to at least be there. They're at number 7. They beat Howard. Again, we mentioned they're at DMA. Howard 4-2. Glasgow 4-2. They're at number 9. They play at Mount Pleasant. They're going to look to rebound. They've also got to be careful. Mount Pleasant's a good team. Yes. They're playing at home. They're a Division I team. They've struggled this year, but they're still a Division I team that I think is capable of beating any other Division II team. So they're also a Division II team, I should say. They were a Division I team the last 2 years. Caravel number 10. That surprises me. We saw Caravel. Maybe we saw them play their best game.
That's
I'm
right.
not sure. That 3-2. They got blown out by St. Mary's in Maryland. They're at Silver Oak Academy. It's a game that actually has now been moved to Caravel because Silver Oak Academy doesn't have lights.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what took them so long to figure that out.
I'm not sure either. It does get dark at 7 o'clock.
There was some funny discussion about that on Facebook. My guess is what happened is like William Penn does. They bring lights in, and whatever organization was going to bring them in or provide them, it fell through, and so they've moved it back. So that's a look at the Division II top 10. Very quickly, let's go through a couple of the big games last week. We mentioned Milford upsetting Woodbridge. Its first loss, Woodbridge's in 18 straight games. This was a big one. Hodson holds this William Penn team to just 59 yards. I believe it's the first time Hodson had ever played at Bill Cole Stadium. Certainly the first time as a Division I team. It was homecoming at William Penn, and they still could only muster up 59 yards of offense.
That was the shocking thing. I mean, and that was a game William Penn had to say on their schedule. They had to have that as a win going forward, which makes this game tonight a must-win for them. But, yeah, that Hodgson team, they've gotten better and better and better as the season has worn on. Now, William Penn has struggled offensively all season long, but for a Hodgson team to go in there and hold them to under 60 yards of total offense, and it was as dominating as it looked on paper. I watched the game, and anyone who's there saw a complete performance from that Hodgson team. They're able to move the ball on offense. They've got a very good defensive line. They're definitely a contender.
Yeah, and I think I texted you that the William Penn offense. I think the words I used was looked like a mess.
Yes.
Against Hodson, and that's with all due respect to William Penn and Marvin Dooley. He would be the first one to agree with me that. Let's hope we see a much improved offense here tonight, which I think we will. One other mention: Seaford's win over Indian River High School snapped a 31-game conference losing streak for the Blue Jays. They had not won a conference, and remember, this is Division II. Henlopen South. It's not AAA up in Pennsylvania or 6-star in Texas. They had not won a conference game in 31 games. They snapped that streak. So I guess congratulations
there you
to
go.
the Seaford Blue Jays.
And poor Indian River, they pull off that huge upset over Glasgow to start the season. And then
they've done nothing since.
Exactly.
I think we jinxed them. All right, coming up next, Marty and I are going to take a closer look at tonight's matchup between William Penn and Sally's here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports. Check, check, check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2 3 4. Check 1 2 3 4.
All right, we're still getting you.
What's that?
We're still getting you.
One place everyone is. AM, FM radio. Come on, everyone's doing it. And Incognito Productions is the premier sports filming company in Delaware, shooting, editing, and creating sports films for teams and individuals. Incognito has you covered with recruitment and game films, plus team documentary-style highlight and insured. Incognito has been in the business for over a decade and will even customize schedule posters like the one created for Fox Sports 1290, team posters, and more. See for yourself the top quality of Incognito Productions by heading to nknfilms.com today.
The area's largest family-owned and operated pet supply store is proud to support University of Delaware football. Concord Pet Foods and Supplies, with 28 locations, was started here in Delaware by Larry Muchler 36 years ago. Experience the difference at Concord Pet. Their outstanding staff will help you with everything your pet needs. Plus, the frequent buyer program allows you to earn free food, litter, and more. Visit Concord Pet Foods and Supplies online at concordpetfoods.com. Go Hens!
This is the Glasgow Medical Aid Unit's pregame show on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and 92.9 WRDX HD2.
Welcome back to Baynard Stadium. We're approximately 13 minutes away from the start of tonight's Week 7 game between the Salesianum Sals and William Penn Colonials. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Let's take a closer look at both teams tonight. Let's start with the visiting William Penn Colonials. Bust up here what seems about 3 hours ago, Marty, the 7:30 kickoff. What kind of quickly for us once we both got here and got set up, but I know I arrived early, and William Penn got here a little bit after I did. So both teams are off the field in their respective locker rooms here at Baynard Stadium. Field is pretty decent for
Looks
all
good.
being said. It's the middle of October. This field gets played on basically Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, and sometimes Sunday. And, of course, there's the big not a controversy, but discussion about whether they should turf this or not. I still haven't figured out why they haven't done that, but they haven't asked my opinion. William Penn, coached by Marvin Dooley in his 4th year, played here. He's an all-state performer in football, wrestling, and baseball. He's given up. He coaches all three. He gave up wrestling this year to focus, really not to focus. His kids no longer play on the teams anymore, and so I think he just decided, look, I got to give up one. Those seasons really literally overlap otherwise, and so he's focused on football. He'll take the winter off, and actually he's going to take the winter off and broadcast wrestling for 302 Sports. So much for being off anyway. But anyway, the Colonials have had a lot of dynamic running backs over the years. You mentioned Reggie Carroll, earlier in the pregame show. They got another one in Nazir Banks.
Banks has been a sensational bright spot in what's really been a pedestrian Colonial offense this season. He's a smallish kid. He's 5'10", 177 pounds, but he's got good speed, and he runs much stronger than his frame would suggest. If a DB or linebacker makes the mistake of trying to grab Banks up high, he simply runs through them and continues on his way. With an ineffective and sometimes, frankly, non-existent passing game with this William Penn offense coming in tonight, Banks has had to shoulder an enormous load here for this team. More often than not, though, he's been up to the task. He leads the team with 512 rushing yards and 5 touchdowns.
All right, he's in the backfield along with him, and the quarterback situation has been in flux so far for Penn. Jason Gildersleeve started several games. Noah Ogben has started a couple games. We've been told Noah Ogben will get the start tonight, but Gildersleeve we might see at some point. Time will tell who's under center when this thing wraps up in about 3 hours.
That's right. As I referenced previously, the passing game for William Penn has been a struggle all season for these guys. Returning starter Gildersleeve, he's only completed 32% of his passes. He's tossed 8 interceptions already against only 1 touchdown pass. And while Noah Ogben in limited duty hasn't performed much better, Coach Dooley is looking for anything that may spark the O and relieve some of the burden on Banks. Hence Ogben's starting assignment tonight. He looked good in pregame warm-ups, I'll say that. And while the quarterbacks, both of them have certainly labored, they've been under near constant duress anytime they drop back, as this William Penn line has had an uncharacteristically substandard season.
They have struggled, Marvin Dooley told us off the air as well. Ogben comes in 5 of 15 for 100 yards. He has thrown 1 interception and fumbled once. All right, and what might be a must-win situation for the Colonials if they want to play in the postseason, Marty, what's going to be the key to them to head back down to Newcastle with a victory tonight?
The first thing for the Colonials is the offensive and defensive lines have got to step up their games. Banks is good, but he's not going to be able to do it himself against a stout Sally's defense. Defensively for the Colonials, they've got to be strong on first and second down. Sally's and Coach DiNardo would love to run the ball down William Penn's throat all night long. So the Colonials are going to have to force Zach Gwynn into passing situations. As good as Zach Gwynn has been this year, the Sows are not nearly as comfortable throwing the ball as they are running it. And the other thing, and one of the areas where William Penn's been actually strong this season, is on special teams. I think if they have any chance to win tonight, they've got to make a big play on special teams. Taryn Cochran has been great returning punts. He's averaging almost 25 yards a punt return. While the offense has struggled, Taryn Cochran and that Penn special teams unit has done really well. A big special teams play could make the difference.
All right, the Sows come running onto the field. They got their pink socks on in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Day. They're coached by Bill DiNardo in his 17th year here on Broome Street, 30th overall. He spent 13 years at the helm of the Middletown Cavaliers program. They've traditionally had two effective runners in the backfield. One lines up at the tailback and has a fullback in front of him to clear the way, and that fullback usually can run the ball too and catch it out of the backfield. This year's no different.
No, it's not. Carson Salvo and Garrett Millian have been a terrific 1-2 punch for the Sows team. The Sows traditionally have had a big tailback. In recent years, it was guys like Troy and Colby Reeder, Josh Patrick more recently. Salvo is not that big back type. He's only 5'8", 165, but he's been no less effective than those guys had. He's rolled up nearly 600 yards and 7 touchdowns, and much of those yards have come courtesy of great blocking from a very strong offensive line and the lead blocking of 5'11", 190-pound fullback Garrett Millian, who can kind of act like a bowling ball when he hits that defensive line. Millian has proved a great dual threat as well. He's accumulated nearly 200 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground, but he's also done a nice job catching the ball out of the backfield as a safety valve with 4 grabs for 50 yards and a touchdown.
You're speaking of Salvo, we'll see whether he's able to play tonight. He was getting sick on the sideline, quite frankly, during warm-ups. He did continue to warm-ups. He is out in the huddle here. We'll see if he is able to start and how long he's able to stay in, hopefully for his sake the entire game. Speaking of backfields, Sally's also traditionally has a quarterback who knows how to manage the game. Zach Gwynn took over the position earlier than expected as a sophomore 2 years ago right here at Baynard Stadium when Garrett Cannon went down with an ankle injury that ended his career.
Yes.
Not because of the severity of it. At the time, of course, it was, but it was because he was a senior, broke his ankle, I believe it was, in the semifinal game against Middletown. And Gwynn has never looked back and has, in fact, added his name to the list of very good Sally's quarterbacks.
Gwynn's done a really great job directing the Sal's offense over the past 2 years. As you mentioned, he burst on the scene in 2015, did a great job, giving the Sal's a great performance in that title game against Smyrna, really kept them in the game, gave them a chance to win. For my money, though, Gwynn's been at his best this season. He's completing 52% of his throws for over 600 yards and 7 touchdowns. His performance is really more impressive when you consider the fact that he's often forced into must-throw situations given the structure and the design of the Sally's offense, which runs the ball more than twice as much as they throw. We look at Smyrna and Middletown. They usually have very close pass-run numbers. Sally's is more than double. William Penn, by the way, is more than triple. When he does put the ball up, Gwynn has relied heavily on 2 big targets. I said they may be 2 of the bigger 1-2 targets in the state in 6-foot senior Michael DiNardo and 6'3" junior Sean Regan, who've combined for 21 catches for more than 300 yards and 4 touchdowns.
All right, it's now time to announce our DFRC seniors to watch. The DFRC Delaware Foundation, reaching citizens with intellectual disabilities. Mark your calendars for the 2018 DFRC Blue Gold All-Star Game on June 23rd, 2018. We air that right here on Fox Sports 1290. Visit dfrc.org. For Salesianum, it's Zach Gwynn. For William Penn, Isaiah Gaynor. Zach Gwynn, of course, the starting quarterback we just talked about. He's thrown for 638 yards and 7 touchdowns. Isaiah Gaynor was a first-team All-State defensive back last season. He leads the team with 65 tackles and has 2 interceptions. He's also rushed 21 times for 105 yards. It looks like William Penn has won the toss, and they have deferred. Sally's, no doubt, will elect to receive. Congratulations to Zach Gwynn and Isaiah Gaynor, our DFRC seniors to watch. Now time for Arby's Weekly Picks. Arby's, we've got the meats. Brad Myers and Matt Kalin from the News Journal both selected Salesianum. I'll reveal my pick in a minute. Marty, your thoughts on tonight's game?
You know, no matter what category you match these two teams up against, Sally's comes out on top in just about every one of them. They are the stronger team. They should win this game. They're stronger on both sides of the ball. I like Sally's 28-13.
All right, I like Sally's 28-14. It's a battle of the trenches, and Sally's is going to win that. Coming up next, we'll take a look at some of the big games on tap this week, and it'll be almost time for kickoff between Sally's and William Penn right here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
American Spirit Federal Credit Union brings you Casasa.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every home.
It's like a participation trophy that's actually worth something. You do everyday things,
and then we'll go right
reward
to,
you in cash
you can
each
come
month.
right back with the opening.
That's free Casasa checking.
And we'll be
As
ready
for Casasa by name at American Spirit Federal Credit Union.
Apparently, you've been ordering Domino's new bread twists as a decoy to keep others away from your pizza. Only you suddenly wanted more bread twists for yourself. There are worse things than choosing between either pizza or warm dunkable bread twists in flavors like Parmesan, garlic, and cinnamon, like deciding between going to the dentist or DMV. So when it comes to giving you the best tasting problem you've ever had, sorry, you're welcome.
Order any 2 or more of Domino's new bread twists or medium 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each. 2-item minimum. Handmade pan pizzas may be extra. You must ask for this.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today.
Bring us back after this and push that next commercial maybe to halftime. Is that possible? They're starting about 2 minutes earlier than we thought. Or if you want to keep running this and then bring me right back when I ask you to. It looks like we might have another minute before they kick off. Welcome
Hi,
back
I'm Scott
to
Cameron from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo
William
Concepts.
Penn. Salesianum comes in with a 4-2 record. William Penn at 3-3. William Penn's going to be in the cherry red pants and white jersey with their black helmets. And Salesianum in their navy blue pants, gold jersey, and gold helmets. And they're wearing their pink socks tonight in honor of October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Marty, your thoughts on this game as we get ready to kick off. Sal's are going to receive and defend the north end zone. William Penn won the toss, and it'll be Louis kicking off for William Penn, Louis Velasquez.
You know, I think you're right. I think a lot of it's going to be the battle in the trenches. Who can control the line of scrimmage? Both these teams love to run the ball. They're both pretty loath to pass it unless they have to, though. Salesianum has certainly been more efficient at doing so, but I kind of feel like Salesianum is going to dominate this game on the lines.
Velasquez has it set up at the 40-yard line, moving right to left, or kicking right to left, we should said. Lynch and Salvo are deep. Answers the question about whether Salvo will start. He's going to get his chance. No, it's going to go to Lynch. He's going to move over and pick it up on the right hash mark across the 15 to the 20, and he is brought down there. Big Matt Hibbert in on the tackle, along with number 33, Kashawn Rollins, the sophomore.
You know, I talked about special teams being a key for this game. That was a great indication right there. William Penn, they've also got to, and I still feel like they're going to need to break one on their end at some point, but they've also got to contain Sally's. They can't allow any big returns. You don't want to give this team any free yards. You want to make this DiNardo coach team earn everything they get.
So senior Zach Gwynn will bring the line up to the line of scrimmage on the 21-yard line on the right hash mark, moving left to right as we see it. Garrett Million is the fullback. Carson Salvo lined up behind him. 2 wide receivers out to the left. Michael DiNardo, the coach's son, goes in motion, and it's a quick give to Million, and he's going to pick up about 3 yards up to the 24-yard line before he is gang tackled and brought down.
Right off the bat, you see strength against strength. William Penn loading the box with 9 guys, leaving the receivers in one-on-one coverage, daring Gwynn to beat them. But Sally's loves to pound the rock forward. And by the way, we're going to see Zach Gwynn do a lot of running tonight. Sally's is one of those teams that gets the play from the coach. Gwynn will run over after every play.
Got to be in shape for this. 2nd and 7, ball on the 24-yard line. Just underway here at Baynard Stadium. 7:30 kickoff. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. It's Bryson that goes in motion to give us to Salvo, and he gets across the 30-yard line. Looks like he might be just shy of the first down. He's going to mark it right between the 30 and the 31, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down.
A good start for Salesianum. The offensive line opening up some holes. The running backs for Salesianum are getting to the second level. The linebackers for William Penn having to jump in on the tackles.
And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and very manageable, basically a half a yard line I formation for Sal's. Little adjustment. They've got 2 guys in the slot, and Bushweller goes in motion, and then jumping off sides is Domenico Mara, the big offensive tackle for Sally's. That's going to cost them 5 yards.
Yeah, when you're 6'4", 230 as an offensive lineman, and you're on the end of the line and you flinch, you're going to get caught every time. That's something that's fantastic if you're a William Penn fan. You don't want to give any free yards, and you'd love to see Sally's shoot themselves in the foot. Traditionally speaking, Sally's is a very minimally penalized team.
And we are in week 7, so
yes.
Most of the teams have worked out the kinks by now. We'll see if that holds true. Same formation, an I formation, 3rd and 6. They're going to call it on the 26-yard line. Bushweller goes in motion, and again, this same man jumps off sides. That's Mara. It'll be interesting to see if maybe he gets pulled out. And as I say that, in hustles number 61, Casey Spinks, to give Mara a break here.
Yeah, that time William Penn's defense did something you kind of see. That's an old school move where everybody moves at the same time. They shifted over to the left about a yard, and it was just enough to throw Mara off his game. You had to think he had it in his head already. He flinched again, and all of a sudden they're 10 yards back.
So we went from 3rd and less than a yard to 3rd and 11, ball on the 20-yard line. This time it's Bryson that goes in motion. To give is to Salvo. He follows him in that direction, gets stacked up and pushed back. So it's going to bring up a 4th down and 9, it looks like, and I would expect we would see Urban Cooper come on to punt away.
I said in the pregame that Sally's is loath to throw the ball. There you go, 3rd and 11. They're still not throwing the football. They're running it right up the gut. They don't get anything. That is a great stand, all things considered. Yes, they got the 2 penalties, but they'll take it, bringing up a 4th and 11, a great hold for the William Penn defense.
And so Jared Gore will back up on about the Sally's 45-yard line. Urban Cooper, the all-state kicker last year, the lefty, is in to punt it away. He's standing at his own 10-yard line. The punt is away, and Gore is going to let it bounce, a super punt, and it's going to get a good roll and roll down to the 33-yard line, where William Penn will take over with 9:12 to play here in the first quarter. No score so far, and what looked like it was going to be a first down for Sally's after 2 penalties turned into a punt.
It was a great job by the William Penn defense, again, taking advantage of Mara's little inability to hold his water there, as they might say. And, John, just to go back to this punt, they're averaging, Cooper Urban is averaging nearly 37 yards a punt on the season. I have no idea why William Penn was only 20 yards off the line. They cost themselves about 15 yards in field position by not having him positioned back further.
So Noah Ogben, the junior, is going to lead this team, and now they've called a penalty. I didn't see what the referee called there.
This is a big one.
Yeah. They're backing it up. It was marked at the 33-yard line, and it's now down to the 23-yard line. So I'm not sure if the penalty happened during the dead ball or what happened, but it was a William Penn penalty that has now pushed it back to the 23-yard line, where Ogben will line up in the pistol formation. Nazir Banks is on his right hip. 3 wide receivers out to the right, one of them in the slot, and the give is to Banks over tackle, and he's dragged down from behind by Bushweller, who loses his helmet on the play and will have to head out, a pickup of just 2.
And Sally's, at least in the early going, they're going to load the box against Banks. He is the main weapon. He's really been, in many ways, the only offensive weapon for this William Penn team. He's over 600 yards, close to 600 yards on the season. If he gets going, Sally's could be in trouble, so they're going to make sure he doesn't.
Still baffled by the 10-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been a hold because they didn't even try a return, so not sure what that is. We'll see if we can find out. Ogden with a quick out has his man. That's Cochran down the right sideline. Cochran's going to get to the 30-yard line. Still going to be about 3 yards shy of the first down.
I love that call by the William Penn coaches. You have a new starter in there, Noah Ogman. You want to gain him some confidence. You get him a quick throw out to the sideline, allow Cochran, who's one of their big playmakers, to get the ball. I love that. You want to get him into a rhythm, Ogman, that is.
And Ogden looked good in pregame. He looked good on film. He looks more of your typical drop-back quarterback, whereas Gildersleeve likes to move side to side and throw on the run when he is not running. So 3rd and 3 on the 30-yard line. Ogden drops back. He whips it out to Hibbert. Hibbert has it and is brought down almost immediately. First guy in on the tackle was Joseph Gormley, so no gain there, and William Penn most likely will be punting it away 4th and 3.
Yeah, Matthew Hibbert was kind of left out in no man's land there. It looked like that play was designed to get some blockers out in front of him, but they got a little bit too far downfield, and they allowed the separation between them allowed the Sally's defenders to get in between and take Hibbert down.
Jason Gildersleeve is standing on his own 17-yard line. Back to receive the punt for Sally's is Jasim Lynch, the senior. Gildersleeve gets it away, and Lynch calls for the fair catch. He's going to take it on the 42-yard line, so that's where Sally's will start. 7:19 to play here. No score. Sally's and William Penn, two of the top teams in the state.
You know, this is kind of what we expected from the beginning. Two teams that are going to try to run the ball down each other's throats. They're going to match up and bang heads on the lines. And so far, it's kind of like one of those the heavyweight fights I like to reference, where both teams are kind of throwing some early jabs at each other. No one's really taking a big shot. Both teams, you've had William Penn put the ball in the air twice, but for very, very short yardage. And looks like we're going to get an early timeout from Salesianum, something they didn't like.
Yeah, Bill Donardo didn't like something. He's going out to the huddle, which usually doesn't happen. We'll take a break with him. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports. Now they got it fixed. There was 30 seconds on the clock. Now there's back to the 7:18, which is where it should have been. And so Sally's is going to have the ball on the 43-yard line coming out of kind of an unexpected timeout. Carson Salvo did come over to the sideline. He wasn't feeling well earlier. Not sure if that's the situation or not. Gwynn has it, and the give is to Million, and Million gets stacked up and driven backwards. He's going to barely make it back to the line of scrimmage. In on that tackle was Isaiah Green for William Penn.
That was a great job by the William Penn defensive line and the linebackers. The defensive line didn't rush the quarterback, but they did hold on to the offensive line, allow the linebackers to break through and make that tackle.
And so no gain, going to bring up a 2nd and 10. Gwynn's going to drop back. He fires it out, and it slips right through the hands of Austin Maka for Salesianum. We're going to bring up a 3rd down. And Bill Cole is still not happy about something.
No, Bill Donardo is. We've seen
Bill
him now
Donardo,
on the field twice. Yanking kids out of the game. So he is not thrilled about what's going on here. By the way, that was only or would have been the 7th catch on the season for Austin Macha. Not a kid who's been thrown to a lot. So you wonder if the lack of practice hurts there.
And, you know, it all started with the 2 consecutive offsides penalties by the left tackle over there. And Bill Donardo is not happy with the players on his team. I'm not sure if he's taking a timeout. The water boy is out. Bill DeMarno is barking at the sideline.
Both teams have William Penn's left the field to go to their
so they're
sideline.
At a timeout too. We'll take a quick timeout also. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Hi, this is Tom. The vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Soto Concepts on the Culinary Coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Championship trophy and proud partner of Fox Sports 1290 AM.
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
On a 3rd and 10, Zach Gwynn hits Sean Regan, the junior, for a big first down up the middle. Going to bring up a 1st and 10 on the William Penn 36-yard line. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Gwynn drops back again, tries to hit DiNardo in the slot, overthrows him, and then a late hit. And William Penn, the crowd, looking for a late hit. So is Coach Bill DiNardo. He can't believe. We've seen some questionable late hits called. That one should have been called.
Yes.
The ball was clearly well behind, and the defender actually took 2 steps and ran. It wasn't a helmet to helmet, but it was definitely a late hit.
And I was talking about Sally's needing to do some different things. They're using tempo here, something we never see from them. Where they're not going to the sideline, they're signaling the plays into Zach Gwynn.
And Gwynn fires to the outside. This time he has Regan again. Regan is wrapped up by Gore and taken down. Going to be about 2 yards shy of the first down. And you said it, something we rarely see from Sally's, a hurry-up offense now.
Yeah, they're looking really good. Zach Gwynn has a really strong arm. He can make all the throws. We just saw him make a strong throw from one hash to the other on the sideline to Sean Regan, who has 2 big catches in a row here. So interesting little change for the Sally's offense.
Moving left to right as we see it, 2 wide receivers out to the right. The fake is DeMillion up the middle. Gwynn rolls out, fires on the move, and the ball skips up, but is dropped by Joshua Johnson, and he's not able to come up with it. So ever since Bill DiNardo got fired up to some of his players, Sally seems to be on the move. Going to bring up, although this does bring up a fourth down. So on the
that
move.
one, I actually think Kyrese Pettiford, the defensive back for William Penn, was breaking on that ball. I almost feel like Gwynn kind of threw that into the turf on purpose. If he had thrown that to the receiver, that certainly could have been in a spot for an interception.
4th and 2. Sally's going for it. I formation to give is DeSalvo back in the game. He comes around the side and dives for the first down. They're going to mark it at about the 25.5-yard line, but it's going to be good enough for a first down.
Wow, that was a nice job by the William Penn defense. I actually thought Salvo was going to break that to the outside. If he had gotten past one more man, the ankle tackle that took him down, he was going to run for a long time. So good job by William Penn, but a great job, Sally's, to keep this drive going.
No score here between Sally's and William Penn. We're just under the 6-minute mark of the first quarter. Sally's, after punting in their first series following 2 penalties, they're trying to drive it into the red zone of William Penn. Gwynn tosses it back to Salvo around the left side. Salvo cuts it up, almost breaks a tackle. Flag comes in, and this one's probably going to come back for a hold.
Yeah, it looks like a big number. I'm trying to get the number here. I think it was 72, John Cohill for Salesianum, that kind of got a hold of his blocker there just enough. It actually didn't affect the play a lot. Salvo had already gotten past the line of scrimmage and was going to end up with a nice game. But again, Sally's shooting themselves in the foot.
So it will drive the ball. They're going to mark the ball back all the way to the 42-yard line after that penalty. And it's going to bring up it will still be first down, but now it's going to be first down in about 23 after the penalty at the spot of the ball. Like you said, it was more in the backfield than anything. I don't think it really impacted the play, but a penalty is a penalty. I formation moving left to right as we see it. Million is the fullback. Salvo, the tailback. Gwynn drops back, firing over the middle. He's got Regan. Incomplete at the last minute. A nice job there. That was Cochran back on defense against Regan. And to avoid the touchdown there, going to bring up a second down.
Cochran did a great job getting back to break that up. The headline of that play is that Gwynn had a good 7-8 seconds back there with no pressure from the William Penn defense. That's been a struggle for them and for Marvin Dooley all season long. If they're going to give Gwynn that kind of time, he is eventually going to find someone.
William Penn has struggled on both sides of the ball in the trenches, and Marvin Dooley has been pretty vocal about that. I formation, 2nd and 22. Gwynn is being chased this time. A little jailbreak screen to Salvo. A nice block there, and Salvo's going to get about half, maybe 3/4 of the yardage back, but not to the first down marker. He's brought down at the 23-yard line, and that will bring up a 3rd down.
And, John, that time Zach Gwynn focused in on the screen. If he had looked up for a split second, a guy you and I talked about before we came in on the air, Logan Bushweller, 6'3", 230 tight end, ran free down the middle of the field. Not a single William Penn player picked him up. He was waving frantically, but Gwynn had already made the decision to throw the screen pass.
Yeah, you don't see quarterbacks go away from the screen pass too often unless they're going to get sacked, which he would have been about a second later. The fake is to Salvo, almost a naked bootleg, and this time Gwynn is going to keep it, and he's going to go nowhere, and he is brought out of bounds by Isaiah Green. And it's actually going to be a loss of probably about 3 yards, going to bring up a 4th and 11.
That was a very odd-looking play. You don't see on tape, you don't see Gwynn running too many naked boots. I'm not sure if somebody misread that in the backfield, because even the angle Gwynn took was not straight toward the tackle position to head around. It was kind of more of an east-west move, so it brings up a 4th and long for Sally's.
It's going to be on the 28-yard line of William Penn. And they're going to go for it. As good a kicker as Urban Cooper is, he's not quite in range yet. Same thing, naked bootleg. This way it looks like Green's going to fire. He does, and he gets it to Million, who dives on the ground to get it at the 19-yard line. And so it didn't pick up the 1st down, and it's going to be a turnover on downs for Sally's.
No, and if you build an Ardo after they shot themselves in the foot with the holding penalty, and William Penn had the nice pass breakup in the end zone, this isn't the end of the world. You're still, with that completed pass, you're having William Penn's offense, which has struggled incredibly all season long, set up inside their own 20-yard line. So if you're Coach DiNardo, there are worse things than having your defense take on William Penn's inside their own 20.
Yeah, so William Penn will take it over on their own 19, moving right to left as we see it, lined up on the left hash mark. They've got 2 wide receivers out to the right. Noah Ogben, the junior, is in the shotgun position. On his right hip is Nazir Banks. Ogben is going to roll out, and he fires it, has his man, and that's a 1st down to Andrew Walsh. He's going to get it. They're going to mark it at the 32-yard line. So a nice throw and catch. Actually, it was Hibbert, not Walsh. Looked like a 6, actually number 5. So a nice job there catching the ball by Matt Hibbert.
That was a great job by Ogben. He actually went through. You could see him go through his progressions as he made his way to the right sideline before he finally found Hibbert open in the middle of the field. So great start for Ogben.
So it's going to be a 1st and 10 on the 31-yard line. Right hash mark, 3 wide receivers out to the left. That's where Ogben rolls out to. He's going to tuck it and keep it, and he gets dragged down from behind after a pickup of about 1, and that was Bushweller in on the tackle for Sally's.
Smart job by Ogben there. That play was designed to be a short pass out to the right flat. Sally's was all over it. Their defensive back shut that down immediately. So Ogben doing a nice job of tucking that ball away and just getting anything he could.
Still no score here at Baynard Stadium between Sally's and William Penn. Sally's ranked number 3, William Penn number 7 in the News Journal Top 10 poll. 3:32 to play. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. We're in the first quarter, the 7:30 traditional start here for the Sally's home games. It's reunion weekend for the Salesianum school. 2nd and 9 from the 32-yard line, and kind of a miss handoff there. Banks ends up with it, but he's going to be dragged down in the backfield. Leading that tackler was Joseph Gormley, and it looked like a missed exchange there. That can come when you got a quarterback that hasn't played the entire season.
You know, that's it. You and I have seen so many cases where we've seen a new quarterback start the game or come in late, and invariably we see a missed exchange or the two run into each other in the backfield. You're right. It's just something that comes with the growing process. Ogben is a junior, but he hasn't had much time playing quarterback here at William Penn.
3rd down and 15 for William Penn. So certainly a situation here. If they don't pick up the 1st down, they'll be punting it away and give Sal's another shot here with time left in the first quarter. Ogben gets the snap in the shotgun position. He drops back. He's throwing over the defense, trying to hit his man. It falls incomplete. He was looking for Jason Gildersleeve, the other quarterback of the team, and it's going to bring up a punting situation for William Penn.
That was a great job by the Sally's DBs. There were 4 defensive backs, including a safety back there guarding 2 William Penn receivers, including, surprisingly, Gildersleeve, the guy who was the starting quarterback in last week's game. But a great job by the Sally's defense. And by the way, the William Penn offensive line really did a great job giving protection to Ogben there. He had all day to throw the ball, just wasn't able to find anyone.
And it was a nice throw. He threw it where only his man was going to come down with it. And so for somebody who's only thrown 5 balls or completed 5 passes coming in. That was a nice job. Jasim Lynch is going to let this ball bounce. It bounces on the 43-yard line and is going to be down there by William Penn. So a nice punt there by Gildersleeve. Sally's is going to take over on their own 43-yard line with 2:22 to play.
Yeah, an interesting start to the game. Again, both teams not really able to get anything going. We have a little pushing and shoving after the play here. The referee having to step in and separate some of the players. But, yeah, William Penn, Sally's comes into this as the stronger team. They're 4-2. They've played some better competition. But William Penn is holding their own. Their line, at least on the offensive side, looks better than we've seen it. The linebackers are able to get a hold of the Sally's runners, not letting them break anything long. And, of course, Sally's just shot themselves in the foot a couple times.
First down and 10 on the 43-yard line for Sally's. DiNardo goes in motion, I formation. Gwynn drops back, fires his out to the side, has his man. That's Jasim Lynch, is going to be tackled at the 49-yard line by Kyrese Pettiford, so a pickup of about 6.
That's Kyrese Pettiford's second play where he's done a really nice job in coverage. That's designed to be just a one-on-one play where Lynch is able to spin away from his tackler, but Pettiford was right on top of him as soon as he caught that ball.
And so actually they're going to mark it at the 50-yard line, so it will be a 2nd and 3, moving left to right as we see it. I formation, DiNardo and Lynch lined up on the right. The give is to Carson Salvo up the middle, and the pile is going to move him to the first down. They're going to mark it at the Salesianum 46, will be a first down for the Sals.
That play was a perfect example of the strength of that Salesianum offensive line. They just bowled their way forward past the William Penn D lineman. It doesn't get a lot of yards, but it does get you a first down, and Bill DiNardo loves this style of football. It's been successful for him.
1:35 to play here in the first quarter, a scoreless first quarter between Salesi's and William Penn. I formation, and Salvo trips and gives it to DiNardo on the end around. I don't think that was designed, but it works to the 40, 35, 30, and knocked out of bounds on the far side by Lance Edwards. I'm not sure. Maybe he falls on purpose because DiNardo was right there to get that on the end around.
DiNardo actually held up slightly when he saw Salvo fall on the ground, and I think that's what allowed Gwynn and he to kind of connect mentally there to say, you know what, this isn't going to work here. You take it. That was a great job by DiNardo to hold up, and a great heads-up play by Gwynn to get him the ball. Yeah, because Salvo face-planted as soon as that ball was snapped.
If it's not designed that way, maybe it will be next week. DiNardo goes in motion right to left on the first down play from the 20-yard line and fires on the slant to Lynch, falls incomplete. In on defense there was Kyrese Pettiford, will bring up a 2nd and 10 from the 27.
Boy, that's 3 plays. Pettiford has just been fantastic on. He timed that perfectly as soon as the ball got there. I actually thought he might have gotten there a tad too early, but the referee didn't call it, so you got to give credit to Pettiford for great coverage.
Yeah, I thought he got there a little early too, and so did the Sally's fans in front of us. But either way, it's going to bring up a 2nd and 10 on the 27-yard line. Clock stops with the incompletion. 1:15 to play here in the first quarter. I formation. Lynch is lined up out on the left and Arter to the right, and the give is to Salvo over the right tackle, and he goes nowhere. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Going to bring up a 3rd and 10.
That play was designed to go off the tackle, and the William Penn line shifted at the snap, almost like they knew it was coming there. Met Salvo right at the line of scrimmage, as you said, just nothing doing. Bringing up a 3rd and long. Again, William Penn they're bending, but they're not breaking so far.
Now, they've kind of gone away from that hurry-up offense. It just happened to notice that Zach Gwynn came over to get the play. It worked on the last time, and they kind of went back to the traditional. Maybe they're just trying to keep William Penn's defense.
Off balance.
Yep. So it will bring up a 3rd and 10. Again, they are not in field goal range, so probably 2-down territory here from the William Penn 27. Gwynn drops back. He's being pursued and gets tackled, but he fires the ball away. He's got Lynch. Lynch dives and incomplete. And the tackle was made, I should say, the pressure was put on by big number 50 Bradley Sisler, and is going to bring up a 4th down.
If Sisler doesn't get pressure when he does there, that's a touchdown and 6 points for Sally's. That made Zach Gwynn throw the ball just a hair quicker than he would have liked to, overthrew the receiver, but credit Sisler on that one. He got the pressure on Gwynn. He forced the early throw and the incompletion.
I like the call by Matt Sable, the defensive coordinator for William Penn. Hadn't showed blitz other than on that jailbreak screen. It looked like a blitz. I don't think it was. It was definitely a blitz that time. Like you said, probably saved the touchdown. DiNardo goes in motion right to left. 4th and 10. Pump fake for Gwynn. He rolls out to the right. He's looking for Lynch, and instead he's going to run for the first down. He cuts back and is brought down but not until he picks up the first down. They're going to mark it at the 8-yard line, so a heads-up play by the senior.
Great job by the athletic Zach Wynn. He's been able to do that on occasion throughout the season. If you're Coach DiNardo, I'm sure you love the toughness. I'm not sure you want him cutting that back and taking the 2 big hits he took at the end of that. Of course, Zach may not have wanted to take the 2 big hits at the end of that, but you got to love the competitiveness and the big play for the first down.
13 seconds and counting. Will be interesting to see if they get this play off. It is first and goal, ball on the 8-yard line, I formation to give us to Salvo. He's working his way up the middle, gets tripped up and brought down at the 4-yard line, and that is going to bring us to the end of the first quarter. Still scoreless here at Baynard Stadium. Sally 0, William Penn 0 on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
At Progressive, we Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
I thought the first quarter went William Penn's way. Everything that they wanted to happen did happen. I'm sure they would have loved to get some points on the board, but more importantly, they kept Sally's out of the end zone. Now, that could be with an asterisk considering Sally starts from the 4-yard line here, but so far so good.
High formation as they've been most of the night. Going to motion from left to right is Michael DiNardo. The give is to Salvo in the exact same play over tackle. He lunges for the end zone. No signal yet. William Penn says they have the ball.
When they do.
And they do. William Penn. So a fumble by Salvo, and William Penn is going to take over, and what a momentum shift.
Wow. Carson Salvo apparently somewhere in that mass of humanity off the left tackle. He lost the ball. We really couldn't tell. The referees didn't show any indication to rush in or anything, and all of a sudden William Penn started pointing the other way. The referees came in and decided the same thing. The Sally's players looked a little confused. I'm not sure they thought it was a fumble. I'm not sure. Bill DiNardo is headed back out again, and now there's a discussion among the referees, and the Sally's players are pointing the other way.
Well, the ref closest to us, and when I say close, he's about as far away you can get at Baynard Stadium, but he was on this side. He was marking the ball. He clearly pointed that the ball was down. Now, we'll see if that change, and that is. They are going to change it.
Wow.
William Penn offense is coming off, and now Marvin Dooley is going to ask for an explanation. So, not sure how they get to that point without instant replay. Somebody clearly called a fumble.
Yes.
And maybe the ref that overruled it. And so Marvin Dooley is not happy about that, and you can't blame him.
Actually, they may be replaying this entire down. They've moved the ball back to the 4-yard line, and the marker's back at second down. I'm not sure if they're saying a play didn't happen because the referee has clearly moved the ball back out to the original line of scrimmage. The down marker now is back to second down instead of third.
So maybe like I tell my kids when they can't decide in the backyard, take it
over.
over.
There you go.
Well, obviously we don't have the benefit of a microphone like college and the pros, but whatever it is, second down and goal, as if the play never took place, and as if it did take place. Salvo gets it, fumbles it again, but not until he breaks the plane of the end zone. So it's going to be a 4-yard touchdown for Carson Salvo in the Salves.
Boy, you can't make this up. Well, now we know how Carson Salvo fumbled the first time.
Right.
That time he just waited till he got into the end zone. So a nice job to finish that drive for the Salves. I'm sure there's some confusion on the William Penn sideline as they appear to do a do-over, the refs that is, on second down. But a nice job by Carson Salvo to push through. The offensive line did a nice job getting push on that compared to the last play when they really didn't get a great push. So nice job by Sally's to punch this one in.
I'd love, and I'll ask Marvin. I know him well, obviously, and I'll ask him what the call was. I don't think he's going to agree with it.
No.
I don't expect him to, but it will be interesting to see after the game what that call was, as Urban Cooper is on to kicks the extra point. Salvo has the hold. It's down, and it is up, and it is good. So now Urban Cooper is good on 18 of 20 extra points this season, the first-team All-State kicker. We're going to take a break with 11:40 to play here in the second quarter. Sally's has taken the lead 7-0 over William Penn.
The area's largest family-owned and operated pet supply store is proud to support University of Delaware football. Concord Pet Foods and Supplies with 28 locations.
Showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvement's pride in the
Concord
details.
Pet Foods and Supplies online at concordpetfoods.com. Go Hens!
High school football on Fox Sports 1290, foxsports1290am.com, and iHeartRadio Fox Sports 1290.
Well, what appeared to be a do-over from the 4-yard line after Carson Salvo appeared to have fumbled the ball, and then the William Penn offense came off the field, and they, again, our only explanation is the play never happened.
I can tell you during the break, and Marvin Dooley's going back to the referee again, he gave the referee on the far side an earful during that timeout.
I would think.
And he still looks not happy with the explanation.
Not only did they give up a touchdown, now the momentum has switched back to Sally's. And so Cooper Urban's 18th extra point after Carson Salvo's 4-yard run made it 7-0. And Cooper Urban kicks off, and it's going to be Gore who takes it on his own 1-yard line for William Penn. He's across the 10, tries to cut back, and is going to be he slips himself and is going to be brought down at what looks like to be about the 12-yard line. So really a big offensive series here for William Penn, not so much because they have to score. They kind of have to get some of the momentum back on their side.
No, I agree. We had a late flag fly in there. I'm not sure who this is going to be on, but if this is on William Penn, yeah, that was first of all, it was a great kick. But they're calling it a touchback, apparently. He took it right at the goal line. Well, no, they're not.
No, I think they picked the flag up. I think that's what he was
signaling.
signaling. They're going to have the ball marked on the 14-yard line.
If you're a high school coach, you want to kick just like Cooper Urban made there, where they take it at the 1-yard line, because, of course, anything that crosses the plane is a touchback in high school football. So that's a great job by Urban.
Two wide receivers out to the left. Noah Ogben takes the ball. He hands off to Banks, and Banks is going to be piled up and actually lose a couple yards there. At least 3 different Sally's guys in on the tackle, led by number 7, Ryan Bryson.
You have to think that based on the season to date, the entire Salesianum defensive staff focused these kids all week on stopping Nazir Banks, and they've done that. The William Penn offensive line, of course, hasn't been able to get much push, so they haven't been able to help, but Sally's defensive line and the linebackers have been all over Banks every time he touches the ball.
And so for William Penn, it's going to bring up a 2nd and 11:04 to play here in the second quarter. Sally's with a 7-0 lead. Same formation, 3 trips to the left, and they fire it out to the left, and he has his man, it looks like Gore, and he's going to be brought down, barely making it back to the line of scrimmage. And so a nice play there by the Sally's defense not to be fooled.
Yeah, the Sally's defense is actually a lot quicker than I think people give them credit for. We're so used to Sally's having big linemen on both sides, but they also have some pretty good athletes in that secondary. That time, Carson Salvo was one of the ones who got out there. It's even more impressive by him considering how sick we saw him at the beginning of this game.
He looked a little bit more like he ate something that didn't agree with
yes.
him. So 3rd and 11. Noah has Gildersleeve on his right hip and Banks in the background. Noah fires it out, overshoots his man, and it's picked off. That's Lynch with the interception for Sally's.
A great job by Lynch. He was Johnny on the spot there. The pass was actually intended for the receiver up ahead of him. I believe it was intended for Matthew Hibbert. It sailed over his head into the hands of Lynch. A great heads-up play to turn around on the man he was guarding, pick that ball up, and secure it as he went to the ground. So great job by Sally's. And, we talked in the beginning, William Penn has had a problem with turnovers all season. I believe that's their 10th interception now in their 6th game. So it's been a struggle all year.
It'll be the 2nd interception for Noah Ogben, who didn't play a whole lot at the beginning of the season, but has played more now. And so 1st and 10 on the left hash mark, moving right to left as we see it for Sally's on the William Penn 29. And the pitch is to Salvo. He cuts up quickly, but a nice tackle there by Christopher Charalamu to prevent a big pickup for Salvo. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage.
That's the second time they've run that play where it's kind of a delayed pitch out to Salvo, and the only problem with it takes a little bit longer to develop, and this William Penn defense has been able to catch up to it. They've stopped that play both times Salesianum is running. And, Salesianum, again, after getting into that tempo and letting Gwynn throw the ball, they've really gone back to pounding it.
The one consistency of William Penn's defense year after year is they've got a lot of speed.
Yes.
DiNardo in motion right to left on 2nd and 11. Gwynn looks to the side, has his man. That's Regan. Regan has it and is brought down. And a nice tackle there for William Penn by Kyrese Pettiford. Pickup of about 6, going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
And I believe that's Regan's 3rd catch already today. He came into the game with only 8 on the season for 131 yards and a couple touchdowns. He's been one of the more reliable targets along with DiNardo for Zach Gwynn. So I like those little short passes out to the flank where you try to get the receiver in some space, allow him to move a little bit, and brings up a 3rd and somewhat manageable for Sally's.
9:02 to play. Sally's with a 7-0 lead. Scored on a 4-yard run by Salvo. Got the ball back on an interception. The ball is to Salvo. He's up the middle over to the right side, and he's loose. One man to beat, and gets knocked out of bounds by Hibbert, but not until he gets down to the 6-yard line. It looks like is where they're going to spot it. Going to bring up a 1st and goal for Sally's.
That was a perfectly executed play by Sally's. William Penn actually had their linebackers blitzing. They blitzed right past Carson Salvo as he took the handoff from Gwynn. So right off the bat, you had 7 guys that Gwynn was past as soon as he touched the football. A great call play there, or play call by the offensive coordinator for Salesianum.
So now with a 1st and goal from the 6-yard line, and it looks like a wishbone formation. Gwynn under center, and the give is to Salvo. Salvo dives at the end zone again and doesn't get in. Looks like he's about a yard away.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen Salvo kind of head to the ground before he gets to the end zone.
3rd time. First one didn't count. They took it over.
I'm not sure if he's seeing where the goal line is different than everyone else is, but he is heading to the ground at about the 1-yard line when it looks like he has enough to push through. So brings up a 2nd short.
Might also be slipping. We've seen several guys slip. Give it to Salvo again. This time he's driving, and he gets pulled back. Looks like Darren Riles there in on the tackle. A nice job by the defensive stance there of William Penn.
Fantastic job by Riles and company. They saw that coming. The first touchdown was scored by Salvo. That's about the 4th time, as you said, we've seen him go off the left tackle. William Penn was all over at that time, put a stop to that one.
And so it's going to bring up a 3rd and goal. Ball is marked, looks like almost inside the 1-yard line, that wishbone formation once again for Sally's, and Gwynn is going to keep it and dive over the right side, and he is in. So a 1-yard quarterback keeper for Gwynn, and Sally's goes up 13-0.
That was a great play call by Sally's. That was the old Tom Brady situation where you come to the line of scrimmage, and as soon as you squat down into position as the quarterback, you take the snap and drive forward. It catches the defense just enough off guard to allow that little push. Gwynn goes in basically untouched, diving in between the guard and center.
So a 4-yard run by Salvo, a 1-yard dive by Gwynn, and all of a sudden it's 13-0 Sally's. All this happened in about a span of about 4 minutes here in the
that turnover
quarter.
Was huge by William Penn, setting Sally's up in William Penn territory.
Cooper Urban, the lefty, in trying to complete his 19th extra point of the season. Salvo will be on the hold. It looked like Million moved on the right side, which will probably push Sally's back. We'll see. No, Sally's is clapping. They're going to say it's offsides on William Penn.
Must have been one of Sally's definitely moved. This must have been one of those where they say drawn off by the movement of the defense, which sometimes apparently defenses are known to try to get the offense to jump off sides a little bit.
At every
Didn't work
level.
that time. Yeah, you can't. You got to give it a shot.
And so instead it's going to be a little bit closer for Cooper Irvin to attempt his 19th extra point of the season. All-state kicker last year. Salvo in on the hold. He's now at the 10-yard line. I'm not sure. I don't think they moved it.
No, I don't either.
I think Sally's chose to keep it pretty much right where it is. The snap is back, and it is blocked. I'm not sure who got their big mid on. Maybe you can see, but a blocked extra point there by William Penn. So that's going to keep the score 13-0 Sally's with 7:39 to play. We're going to take our last break of this first half. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
School bus.
When we
Make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
And hurt for a little bit, but is back out. And either way, it's going to be a 13-0 lead for Sally's as Cooper Urban gets ready to kick off from his own 40-yard line. And the kick is away. And it looks like they're going to let it fly into the end zone. And so a touchback for Cooper Urban, and William Penn is going to get the ball on their own 20-yard line.
That's a good calculated guess. I'm sure Marvin Dooley and the special teams coordinator said, look, if this looks like it's going to hit near the goal line, let it go. Both times they've taken the kickoff, they've been pinned deep in their own territory because Sally's units have been so fast getting down there. So good job to watch that, monitor, and make sure it goes out of the end zone so they can set up shop at least the 20.
William Penn, according to my stats, has only picked up one first down tonight, and that was on their second series. Their first series and second ended on punts. Their third series ended up on the interception by Jasim Lynch. So Ogben is in the pistol formation. Looks like that's Banks lined up on his left hip. Two wide receivers out to the left. Ogben rolls out to the left. Banks trying to provide a block and didn't work, and Ogben gets taken down after a loss of about 3. In on the tackle was Garrett Million for Sally's.
Yeah, it was kind of odd. The way Banks was blocking, it was almost right into the path of where Ogben was heading. Ogben was never able to adjust because the defense was trailing him, and all of a sudden the man came off of Banks and just drilled Ogben for the 2-yard loss.
And it looks like here they're going to send a player off probably for blood. That's Dalton McNabb, who's going to be sent off. His left arm is bleeding. Coming in to take his place will be Jesse Wheatley, number 19. And it's going to be a second down for William Penn, 2nd and 12 from their own 18-yard line.
This was an old Bill Belichick trick, was as soon as you see a new guy come in, you go at him. So in this one, you got a linebacker, you send a tight end or a running back out, put him in coverage, and there he goes. Wheatley's going to be in coverage right off the bat.
Gore and Gildersleeve. We'll see which one he picks up. Looks like it's going to be Gildersleeve, and it's going to be an exchange going the other way, almost a reverse to Gore, and he's only going to pick up a yard, maybe get back to the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a reverse that just seemed to take a long time to get going in the backfield there. Enough time to allow Sally's defense, which has some good quick athletes, to recover and come back and take Gore down. So, yeah, 2 plays and just not much going here for this William Penn offense, but a lot of it is due to the fact that Sally's is flying all over the field tonight.
3rd and 11 for William Penn, and it is we are almost exactly halfway through the second quarter as the clock reads 6 minutes exactly to go and is running. Ogben is in the shotgun formation, pistol formation if you prefer. Banks is on his right hip, 2 wide receivers out to the right. He's going to roll to the right, Ogben. He's looking for Gildersleeve. Instead, he's going to get it underneath to Gore, and Gore's going to get driven out of bounds at the 25-yard line, about 5 yards shy of the first down. And on the tackle was Dalton McNabb.
That was a great job by Dalton McNabb. He just kind of waited there, and we're going to get an unsportsmanlike penalty at the end here, apparently on Salesianum. This will not make Coach DiNardo very happy.
No, because it's going to go from a punting situation to a first down situation.
Yes.
If in fact that is it. It is an unsportsmanlike against Sally's, and Bill DiNardo, of course, wants to know who it is and how quickly he can get that person out. You can see Bill DiNardo, he is not happy about that. And so coming out, about 3 guys came out, so I'm not going to say who I think it is because I'm not sure. But either way, the unsportsmanlike conduct is not going to be popular in the locker room.
And that's going to give William Penn their 2nd first down of the half now, and it comes via penalty by Salesianum. Yeah, the Salesianum defense had done a great job shutting William Penn down, but again, that's got to be the 4th or 5th penalty on Sally's tonight, something uncharacteristic for a Bill DiNardo coach team. I'm sure this is something they're going to want to get out of the way tonight, and I'm sure he's going to make sure during the practice week that this doesn't continue in following weeks.
And so it's going to turn it into a first down at the 40-yard line for William Penn. It was Christopher Perna, the lineman, who was getting barked at. So we'll leave it at that and assume that that's who the unsportsmanlike conduct was against. And so a 1st and 10, a nice break, one of the few that William Penn has had, just their second first down. Ogden gets it in the shotgun formation, and he looks at the slant. He's got his man, that's Hibbert. Hibbert's going to have another first down as he hauls it in and is tackled by Salvo, but not until he gets into Salesianum territory at the 49.
It's a great job, and I couldn't see if it was Banks or not, but one of the running backs picked up the blitzer, Logan Bushweller for Salesianum, who was going to have a clear shot at Ogden. It allowed him the time to stand back there and deliver that ball. So great job of the blitz pickup by William Penn backs.
5:13 to play. William Penn trails 13-0. They've got a first down, their third of the game, second of this series, on the Salesianum 49-yard line. 3 wide receivers out to the left. Ogden in the pistol formation. Banks to his left. The flip is to Banks. He tries to get around the left side and is brought down. Looks like probably a 1-yard loss there. In on the tackle was Brendan Pacheco.
Yeah, Banks has done a much better job this season when he's been able to run between the tackles. Tonight, I guess because of the nature of the Sally's defense and how big they are inside, Marvin and his staff have decided to try to get Banks outside a little bit, but he's just not got that breakaway speed to get to the outside and turn that corner. Sally's just done a really nice job of fighting off the blocks of the receivers.
Banks comes in with 79 carries, 512 yards, both team highs. It's probably safe to say he's not even got 25 yards tonight. So a 2nd and 10 and a flip reverse there to Hibbert, and no fooling anybody as Hibbert is brought down immediately by Brendan Pacheco, a loss of about 5.
Yeah, Garrett Million and Brendan Pacheco blew that up. One took the running back, one took the receiver, so no matter which way they tried to go with that little reverse play, it was covered by the Sally's defensive backs and linebackers. So a great job. Sally's defense is doing a great job of recognition tonight, trying to determine these little tricks that Marvin and his staff are trying to throw. None of it has worked on Salesianum so far.
I have it 3rd and 14. Scoreboard has it 3rd and 15. We'll call it 3rd and 14 and a half for William Penn, moving left to right. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Banks on Ogben's hip, and Ogben gets turned around, and they try to fool everybody going to the other side, and he overthrows his man. The pass was for Carlos Dean, incomplete, going to bring up a 4th down.
And Carson Salvo was so focused on delivering a hit to the receiver, he didn't realize the ball was headed his way. It hit him right in the chest and bounced off. He never even had time to react to it. So a great job there. The blitz forced that throw quicker than Ogben would have liked to. Now, again, Ogben, he looked great in warm-ups, and we really haven't gotten a chance to see what he could do, John, because this offensive line has just been kind of porous so far.
Jasim Lynch is back on his own 20-yard line. Gildersleeve punts it away. Lynch is going to let it bounce and hope it takes a Sally's bounce, and it kind of just bounces straight up and down, hits a William Penn player, and they're going to mark it down at the 27-yard line. There is a flag down, 3:26 to play. Sally's with a 13-0 lead, and the ball, I think the flag came down after the punt. They're discussing it. Flag is laying on the William Penn 45-yard line. Waiting for a signal from the ref. It's going to be a personal foul, face mask against Sally's.
If that happened before the punt went off, this is going to be a first down for William Penn. So the question is, was it pre or post possession?
And so for Sally's, that is their 6th penalty. Their 5th penalty here in the first half. And it looks like it's going to be post-possession, so it's going to be 15 yards from the spot, but still it's going to take the ball from what would have been the 27-yard line back to probably the 12, I would think.
And another huge penalty. I mean, that the last 2 penalties on Salesianum have resulted in 30 yards against them. So, again, an uncharacteristically rough night.
Well, now they're marking
the ball
they're
going the other way.
As if it's against William Penn. Now, they do it from the spot of the foul, but Marvin Dooley would have never taken that penalty because it's actually...
they signaled incorrectly. He just signaled the face mask was on William Penn.
So the referee had it the
just
wrong
signaled
way.
It, yeah.
All right, so instead of it being Salesianum's 5th penalty, it's going to be William Penn's 3rd penalty. Everybody confused here. It's amazing how the one signal by the ref in the wrong direction, and, they're human. That's going to happen.
Right.
But it just threw off the entire series there, confused everybody, both coaches and the fans. The give is to Salvo up the middle as Sally starts on their own 44-yard line. Salvo's going to get it up to about the 48-yard line. Will bring up a second and about 5.
Salvo's one of those kind of scoot backs that looks for the hole, finds it, and kind of wiggles through and gets what he can. Again, he's not a real big kid. He's not going to mow over a bunch of different linebackers or DBs or anything like that, but the offensive line gives him enough daylight where he picks up 4 or 5 yards a clip.
So it's going to be second, and we'll call it 6 on the 48-yard line. DiNardo goes in motion left to right. The give is to the up back. That's Million. He gets hammered down at the 50-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and 4.
Now, Million will bowl you over, and that time the linebackers from William Penn found that out. They were able to bring him down before he got a big head of steam going, but Million is the guy they'll send right into the middle of that line to do some damage and pick up some short yardage situations.
Ball on the 50-yard line for Sally's. It is a 3rd and 4. Right at midfield, I formation, 2 wide receivers out to the right. Million is the up back, Salvo the tailback. The fake is to Salvo. Gwynn rolls out, pump fakes, firing deep. Got a receiver down there, overthrows his man. That was DiNardo. He was trying to reach. In on the coverage for William Penn was Kyrese Pettifor, going to bring up a 4th and 4.
Yeah, Michael DiNardo, I'm not sure if he thought Gwynn was going to throw it sooner. He actually stopped running and then picked it up again after Gwynn threw the ball. So it looked like there was some kind of miscommunication there. DiNardo did not look like he was happy with Gwynn as he came off the field. I'm not sure if that ball was supposed to come out sooner because, as I said, DiNardo simply stopped, and then he picked up again after Gwynn let it go.
And so after scoring on 2 consecutive possessions, Sally's is going to punt this ball away. Cooper Irvin in. 2:11 to play here. Sally's with a 13-0 lead in the second quarter. And back to receive the ball is Jared Gord for William Penn. He is standing on his own 20-yard line. Punt is away by the lefty. Gore is going to take it on the 12, fumbles the ball, and then falls right back on top of, it was at the 16-yard line. So risky play there, but a heady play once he fumbled it.
It was. I mean, we said early in the game I'd criticized them for being far too up on the punts by Cooper Urban. That time he went back a little bit, but it was such a line drive punt. It's one of those difficult ones to judge sometimes, but a good job of getting back on top of the ball and making sure you don't turn the ball over inside your own 20.
So a first down on the 17, 2:04 to play. William Penn has the ball, picked up a couple first downs on their last drive before they end up having to punt it. We'll see if they can put something together here to end this half.
My guess is Marvin would love to see a time-consuming drive, even if they get no points here. You go in down 13-0, you're still okay.
3 wide receivers out to the right. Ogbin, the junior, is in pistol formation, and it's a quick out, and he has his man, his fellow quarterback, Gildersleeve. Gildersleeve holding the ball out like a pile.
You know what, John?
That was a watermelon.
It was a double pass.
Yeah.
Gildersleeve ran behind Ogbin. He took the pass, but then he didn't realize, or he didn't have the presence of mind to say, I'm not going to get this thing off. There are 5 Sally's guys in my face, and he just stuck the ball out like a loaf of bread for anybody to take, and luckily for him, it fell out of bounds. But, yeah, that page may get ripped out of the playbook after tonight.
That was the term I was looking for, the loaf of bread, and it came out. Unfortunately for him, that loaf rolled out of bounds. Otherwise, it would have been Sally's ball in the red zone with plenty of time left here in the first half. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and 10, ball on the 17-yard line. William Penn moving left to right or north to south, if you're familiar with Baynard Stadium. Banks is on his left hip. The give is to Banks. Banks up the middle. His biggest run of the night has the first down, barreling over the 35-yard line. Going to mark him down at the 36. That's the Banks we saw on film.
That's absolutely the Banks we saw on film. The William Penn line busted a hole open on the left side of the Salesianum defensive line, enough for Banks to burrow through and knock over a couple DBs on his way.
William Penn has 3 timeouts left. Sally's has 2 if they were to get the ball back. The give is to Banks again. This time he goes the same side, not with quite the success. Going to pick up about 4, maybe 5 yards. We'll see where they mark it. And it looks like William Penn is going to take their first timeout.
Yeah, it looks like they may have decided that Banks' best chance for some yards is on the left side of that Salesianum defensive line. They may have found a little bit of a soft spot there. It hasn't been much. Aside from that big run from Banks, there really hasn't been anything there. He did pick up about 4 or 5 that time, but Salesianum's done all in all a nice job of containing him.
So when they come out of the timeout, it'll be 2nd and 6 with the ball on their own 41 for William Penn. A big thanks to our partner, NKN Films, for their outstanding design information on our 2017 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. Coming up on the IBEW Local 313 Halftime Report, our producer and studio host, Ronnie Vickers, will have football news and scores, along with a preview of the weekend's matchups ahead. Plus, we'll be back with a review of the first 24 minutes of action. It's all coming up at the half. 2nd and 6, ball on the 41 for William Penn. Their own 41, 1:33 to play. They trail 13-0 to the number 3 team in the state, Salesianum, here at Baynard Stadium. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. 2 backs in the backfield, and Ogben is going to give it to Gildersleeve. This time he turns and fires. He's got Hibbert. Hibbert looks like he was interfered with. Flag comes in, and the ball's going to be marked down at the Sally's 36-yard line. And unless I'm completely wrong, that's going to be pass interference on Sally's, and that play will stand.
Yeah, you know, the weird thing about that is it was the only reason there was pass interference is because the pass was an absolute wounded duck from Gildersleeve. He wasn't able to get anything on that throw. He took the play. He took the pitch and didn't have any time. Sally's line was all over him. He kind of threw it up for grabs, is what it amounted to. And Hibbert did a nice job working his way back to catch that, forcing the interference on Salesianum.
And so it's going to be a first down for William Penn, still with 2 timeouts left. 1:19 to play here in the second quarter. Ogben is moving people around left and right. A little bit of confusion. There's going to be 3 wide receivers out on the left when it's all said and done. Ogben on the short side of the field. Now he brings Gore back over to line up on the right side of the field. Ogben is in the pistol formation. Banks with a nice block. Ogben is being rolled out to the left and cuts back, and another nice block. Ogben throws it up, and nobody's going to come down with it. Almost picked off there by Gabriel Pazangra. Ogben was trying to get the ball to his wide receiver, Jason Gildersleeve, and it's going to bring up a second down.
John Hahn for Salesianum, the linebacker, 6 foot, 165-pound senior. He was all over that. He drilled right through Banks, made his way to Ogben, who did a really nice job evading the pressure and then getting that throw off. Unfortunately, Sally's had nice coverage down the field. They weren't fooled by any play fakes or anything. So nice job again by the Salesianum defense of really maintaining discipline.
And so it's going to be a 2nd and 10 ball on the Sally's 36-yard line. Ogben for William Penn, the junior quarterback, who has split time with Gildersleeve the last couple of games, has played the entire game at quarterback. He fires it to the sideline, trying to hit Gore on the edge there. Falls incomplete, going to bring up a 3rd down.
That was probably a good job all the way around, because Gore was going to get absolutely blown up by 2 Sally's defenders who were tracking him to the left side of the field. And if he had thrown that ball in front of Gore, that might have been intercepted. So it's probably better for William Penn that ball sailed over his head and out of bounds.
51 seconds to play. You'd have to say this is probably 2-down territory. William Penn has 2 timeouts left, according to my stats. Sally's also has 2 timeouts. Will be interesting to see if maybe Bill DiNardo doesn't take a timeout if they stop him here and force Marvin Dooley to make a decision what he wants to do. Snap is back. Ogben's looking to the left, gets pressured, throws it up, and overthrows his man. That was Hibbert, going to bring up the 4th down we were just talking about.
That's the case of Ogben just not having a ton of reps as a starting quarterback. Hibbert did a nice job of stopping his route and then working his way back toward the ball. Ogben threw it as if he was going to stay where he stopped the route, threw it over his head. So what could have been a big completion for William Penn brings up a 4th and long.
And Bill DiNardo didn't have to think about using a timeout because the incomplete pass stopped the clock with 47 seconds to play here. It's going to be 4th and 10 at the 36-yard line for William Penn. Banks is in the backfield behind Ogben. Gildersleeve is lined up on Ogben's left hip. 2 wide receivers out to the left. Ogben is looking. He throws it up. He's trying to hit Hibbert. Overthrows his man. There was double coverage. Wow. Now a late flag.
Very late.
Wow. And Bill DiNardo is not going to be happy about that if, in fact, that is against Sally's. It's either got to be a defensive hold or interference because Hibbert ran right through, or Gildersleeve ran right through everybody.
He threw it so late, it's got to be pass interference because it was certainly while the ball was in the air. Yeah, that's
exactly what it is. Wow, wait till Bill DiNardo sees that one on tape.
And, not only, there might have been a little bump at the end, but it was because the receiver ran into the defensive back, but also the ball was well overthrown. He wasn't going to catch that.
Yeah, and both defenders were looking back for the ball.
Yes.
And I didn't even see contact, to be honest with you. There may have been a little bit, like you said, but it was.
It certainly wasn't penalty worthy.
No, and it's certainly in this situation, in any situation. So, but either way, Marvin Dooley is a lot happier than that than he was of the takeover that we saw on the other side. And so with 41 seconds to play, it's going to be 1st and 10 on the 21-yard line for William Penn. And they're in the same formation they were just in. Ogben is in the pistol, Gildersleeve on his left hip, Banks behind him. Ogben's looking, and he's trying to hit Hibbert this time on the slant and overshoots his man. So he's overshot Matt Hibbert 3 or 4 times. But the good news is, hasn't thrown an interception.
No, he hasn't. That's been the difference. Some of the earlier passes for William Penn this season were put right in the position where the defenders could intercept it. Yeah, Ogben's kind of he's not pushing forward enough, and some of these passes are sailing on him. He has had some open receivers, but you're right. At best case scenario, they're not being put in places where they can be intercepted either.
And so it's going to bring up a 2nd and 10, ball on the 21-yard line. Right hash mark, so the short side of the field is closest to us. William Penn moving left to right. Banks is on Ogben's left hip. Ogben drops back. He's firing for the end zone again. This time it's almost picked off. He was trying to hit Cochran, and it was almost picked off by Carson Salvo. Instead, the ball is out of the end zone and going to bring up a 3rd down.
I'm actually kind of surprised. We talked about in the pregame the kicker for William Penn was routinely hitting. Velasquez was hitting from about 30, 35 yards with some really good distance. I'm surprised they don't try to get maybe 10, 15 yards here and try to set him up for a field goal just to get something on the board, some momentum going into halftime.
He's got 4 touchbacks kicking off, so he's obviously got the leg.
He does, yeah.
The question is obviously how accurate it is. So 3rd and 10, 31 seconds left to play. William Penn has 2 timeouts left, according to my stats. 3 wide receivers out to the left on the far side of the field. The give is to Banks up the middle, maybe doing just what you suggested, Marty. And he's going to be brought down at the 15-yard line, short of the 1st down. It's going to bring up a 4th down. And about 4. Clock is ticking. 17 seconds to play here.
Yeah, this is interesting. William Penn has no timeouts left, and Ogben is at the sideline.
No, I think they do. I've got him down for 2 left.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's Marvin Dooley is going to take that timeout here. So with 7 seconds left, we assume they're going to kick.
Yeah.
Only because I don't know why they would have waited that long to call a timeout otherwise.
No, and like I said, in pregame warm-ups, Velasquez was hitting. Louis Velasquez, the 6-foot senior kicker, was hitting for about 30, 35 yards. Now, granted, there's no pressure there. There's no defensive line steaming down on him, but his kicks were sailing through the uprights and going about with a good 10 to 15 yards to spare. So it'll be interesting to see what he could do here.
And the ball is going to be marked on the 15-yard line of Sally's on the right hash mark.
And you know what? They're not going to kick, it looks like.
They are. Velasquez is out.
Oh, okay.
He's got the tee. And you saw Ogben. Ogben's a holder.
That's right.
Ogben is out, and he's going to be spotting the ball on the 22-yard line, which means it's going to be a 32-yard field goal attempt for Velasquez. And it looks like Bill DiNardo is going to take his last time out. I believe, well, actually, I'm not sure if they counted that other timeout during that other situation they had. But anyway, with 7 seconds left.
This is the prerequisite icing timeout, right? The coaches are apparently required to take.
The coaches. All right, Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches, speaking of coaches, or former players wanting to coach. The next sports seasons is basketball for Special Olympics, one of the most popular sports they have. They offer for children and adults with intellectual disabilities of all ability levels. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information on how you can become involved as a Special Olympics coach, visit SODE.org. All right, here we go. I didn't see any field goals attempts watching film. You watched a little more film than I did this week.
Velasquez did not have any field goal attempts for this season that I could tell.
And so this is going to be a 31-yard field goal attempt from the right hash mark going left to right. There is no wind that we can tell of. The snap is back. The hold is down by Noah. The kick has plenty of distance, but looks like it is going to be wide right. So a 21-yard field goal, or 31-yard field goal, I should say, from the 21-yard line. No good. Plenty of distance, wide right. And it's going to be a turnover. Sally's is going to take over with 3 seconds to play, I assume, probably just taking a knee.
I would agree, yeah. And you know what? That was a perfect field goal in terms of the height, the kick off the tee, the rotation of the ball. The only thing, it was just wide to the right, but otherwise a nice attempt there by Velasquez. And you got to give Marvin credit for trying the kick there, not something they've been able to do this season, but just an attempt to get some kind of momentum heading into halftime.
And so it looks like that's exactly what they're going to do. Gwynn is under center. He takes a knee, 3-2-1. We are at the half here at Baynard Stadium. Salesianum with a 13-0 lead over William Penn. After the commercial break, we'll send it back to the Fox Sports 1290 studio for the IBEW Local 313 halftime report with Ronnie Vickers, and then we'll be back to talk about the first half action. Once again, your halftime score, Salesianum 13, William Penn 0. You're listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley: cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowes, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus: wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens and bathrooms. Want a professional no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lewis, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 homebuyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time homebuyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at thehadleygroupre.com.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lowes, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Mr. Italian began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers. For the loan that fits you, contact Brian today. Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create.
And that's how we went into the half after a missed 31-yard field goal by Luis Velasquez on a series that was 12 plays long. A nice drive by the Colonials, aided by a couple penalties by Sally's, but still a nice drive nonetheless. Your thoughts on the first half, Mark?
It was. We said right before that drive started that they needed to do at least run the clock out to try to get this to a 13-0 halftime, not let things get worse. You know, it's been a typical William Penn Sally's matchup as far as we thought these teams were going to try to mash each other at the lines, and that's what they've done. Both teams have tried to go to the air a little bit. Salesianum had that really interesting segment in the first half where they went to a tempo offense, no huddle. They seemed to pick up some good yardage. They had a couple penalties in there, but they never went back to it. They went back to running the ball with Carson Salvo and a few short passes. William Penn, frankly, hasn't been able to get much going. Banks had one run where I think he broke it for about 13 or 14 yards. Beyond that, he really hasn't been able to do much. The line's been overwhelmed. It's been held in check by Salesianum's defense. Ogben, he hasn't gotten much of a chance to do things. When he has, unfortunately, he's been a little high with his throws. He had the one that sailed on him that ended up being picked off by Salesianum that led to a score. But for the most part, I mean, I think if you're Marvin Dooley, you got to be happy with what you saw from defense on William Penn. They've done a nice job containing this Sally's offense. If you're Sally's, I'd be really surprised to see them not go back to that tempo at some point. It seemed to be so out of character for them, so different. Maybe something they're just trying to show a little flavor of, something maybe they plan to take into the postseason. But I expect to see much more in the second half as far as these two teams just butting heads and trying to run the ball down each other's throats. William Penn is going to have to go to the air at some point, and that plays right into Sally's hands, unfortunately.
So 13-0 lead, Sally's over William Penn. One turnover for each team, an interception for William Penn and a fumble by Salesianum. William Penn had 3 penalties, 5 for Salesianum. An unusual, unsportsmanlike penalty for Salesianum. Don't see that often. And a questionable, to say the least, pass interference penalty. I mentioned a couple penalties that kept that last drive alive for William Penn. The pass interference one was one of them, as Hibbert was heading into the end zone with 2 Sally's defenders. You and I didn't see barely any contact, but the referee obviously did. Kevin Dressley just sent me a text message and I asked if he's ever seen it. His reply was, yeah, it was very backyard. Never have seen it. So if Kevin Tressolini hasn't seen it, there's a good chance that it maybe has never happened. And so it was something, Marty, or every night we learn something, and we're part of something, and here we are tonight as we get set to kick off. William Penn won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and so they will be receiving Cooper Urban's kickoff here to start the second half. Sally's with a 13-0 lead. A good crowd here. It's reunion weekend for Salesianum, and the stands on this side are practically full. I'd say it's as full as when they sell out or get close to it when they play St. Mark's and some of the other big rivalry games. Decent turnout for William Penn on the other side for a Friday night. It is Gore and Cornell Boatwright who are back to receive the kickoff for William Penn. They're both standing at the 5-yard line as Cooper Urban gets ready to kick this off left to right. Navy blue jerseys, gold pants, gold helmet, the pink socks for Sally's, and they're going to let it go into the end zone. So I believe the second touchback of the night for the all-state kicker Cooper Urban, and William Penn's going to take over at the 20-yard line.
This is an important drive for William Penn. They were able to, even though they didn't score, they were able to build a little momentum. They held the ball. They were able to do a few things, running the ball, throwing the ball on that last drive. Again, unfortunately for them, they weren't able to punch anything up on the scoreboard, but they've got to come out here and kind of try to establish some offensive rhythm if they have any hope of getting back into this.
And it's going to be Noah Ogben, the quarterback, the junior, who started up as the backup quarterback to Gildersleeve at the beginning of the season, saw more and more time in the last couple games. He's going to be lined up with 3 wide receivers out to the right. Banks is on his right hip in the pistol formation. The give is to Banks up the middle. Banks gets away from the first line, pushed into the second line, still on his feet, makes it up to the 35-yard line. So a great run, a great first play for the Colonials. They're going to mark it down at the 36.
That's vintage Banks. I mean, he goes right off the right tackle and just bang, knocks over 2 or 3 Sally's defenders who tried to go up high, tackling him. One tried to grab him by the shirt. He's got that low center of gravity, and he's too strong. He fights through those arm tackles. So, as you said, a great start for the Penn offense.
So it's going to be a 1st and 10 ball on the William Penn 36-yard line. Same formation, just flipped. 3 wide receivers on the close side of the field to us, moving right to left. Fake blitz by Sally's. It's a quick out to Gildersleeve. Gildersleeve shakes by the first tackle and then gets drilled down. Pickup of about 1. A nice tackle there by number 22, Garrett Million for Salesianum.
You know, that was a throw out to Gildersleeve, and he's a kid who's been the quarterback for most of the season. He's not really used to playing receiver. He needed to catch that and cut it back up immediately, and he hesitated almost as if he was waiting for a blocker. That play is not designed to have blockers out in front. He needs to cut that back to the middle of the field, and he just didn't do it.
2nd and 8. Ball is between the 37 and the 38-yard line. 3 wide receivers out to the right, to the far side of the field. Short side's on our side to give us to Banks to the short side. He's trying to go over the left tackle, picks up a couple yards before he is taken down by Brendan Pacheco.
That was a great job by Pacheco. He went low immediately as Banks got to the line of scrimmage. That's the way you stop Banks. That's how you let him not get any further. And looks like we're going to have an unsportsmanlike conduct on William Penn this time.
Yeah, and that's a William Penn player arguing with the referee. Marvin Dooley's yelling onto the field. He can't be happy with his player. I still think Marvin Dooley's unhappy with the refs about that takeover play, but he has nobody to blame but his players, and he's making that clear. So an unsportsmanlike penalty for William Penn, their 4th of the game, 1st of the second half. And so it's a rally breaker.
It is, absolutely. It's demoralizing. I mean, you're up to the 40-yard line. You just had a couple of nice plays. You're starting to put together a drive, and then somebody acts selfishly because they felt they were getting holed or they were being interfered with, and all of a sudden you're set back 15 yards, and you're, as you said, it's a drive killer.
You know, and more probably than in any sport, Marty, I've found that if you mouth off to the ref, it's a flag. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what kind of language you use. They just do not take it. Sometimes in basketball, you get a warning before a technical.
Baseball's the same way.
Baseball's the same way.
Football, you say something, bang,
the flag's
flag
out.
goes up.
And so it's going to be a 3rd down, according to the chains. Ball on the 26-yard line. Ogben's going to roll out, being chased, flushed out of the pocket. Has his man, that's Hibbert, who's going to get back to the original line of scrimmage, going to bring up a 4th down and probably the punting unit out onto the field.
Really nice job by Ogben rolling to his right there. Again, that was sort of what he did on the first play of the game. He kind of just rolled there and read through his progressions and found Hibbert. And because of the penalty, it's now, it is going to be 4th down. This is interesting. I'm not sure. I don't think you can't go for it from here.
No, and there doesn't look like they're going to. The teams are hustling on their punting units.
But again, that penalty just absolutely killed.
They're now back to where they were, and they had a 2nd down, 3rd down at the time. So Gildersleeve now is going to be back on his own 22-yard line, punting the ball away to Salesianum. The punt is away.
Wow, Gildersleeve killed that thing.
He did. Lynch is just going to let it roll, and it's going to take a William Penn bounce all the way down to the 14-yard line. So a tremendous kick by Gildersleeve is going to pin Sally's back on their 14-yard line with a 13-0 lead 9:34 to play here in the third quarter.
Now, thanks to that penalty, the onus gets put on the William Penn defense. They have to hold Salesianum here and hope they get the ball back in decent field position. If you're Salesianum, we kind of go back to the keys of the game. You don't want to turn the ball over. They just need to control the ball, control the clock, run the offense they run all the time, which is they like to run it twice as much as they like to pass it.
Except in the first half. They seem to pass the ball quite a bit,
nice
and now
balance.
is when you would think you would run it, and that's exactly what they do. Carson Salvo, again, looks like he slips, got it out to the 20-yard line. We've seen him either slip or intentionally slide to avoid a hit a couple times here tonight.
I'm starting to think you're right, and this is slipping. I don't know if it's cleats he's wearing or what, but we've seen him specifically do it about 3 or 4 times, and that time it looked like he was trying to cut it back toward the middle of the field a little bit. His feet came out from under him, but a nice first play there for Salesianum.
Going to bring up a 2nd and about 4 from the 20-yard line. The give is to Salvo again. This time he's met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. Looked like they were going to give him a loss of 1. Ryan Cole, the senior guard, in on the tackle there.
Yeah, Ryan Cole and Ernest English kind of met at the ball carrier there, and we haven't really called those guys' names too much tonight. They're 2 of the leaders of this defense, but there really hasn't been much to write home about for the William Penn defensive line. Now, the linebackers and the defensive backs have done a nice job, but that William Penn defensive line's got to step up because Sally's is going to try to ram the ball down their throats.
3rd and 5. This would be a big stop for the William Penn defense to force a punt. I formation, 2 wide receivers to the left for Sally's. The give is to Salvo. No, it's a fake, and instead it's Donardo right around the end, and he's going to get to the 25-30, picks up the first down before he's finally pushed out of bounds. So a great fake there, pushed out of bounds by Isaiah Gaynor, but not until Donardo picks up the first down.
No, they faked that play multiple times throughout the game. The only time they ran it was by accident when Carson Salvo had slipped and Gwynn heads up, gave the ball to Donardo coming around the end. That was the first time they ran a planned reverse, and it was so well executed. William Penn was in a bad position. First down for Salesianum.
1st and 10 from their own 37 with a 13-0 lead. The give is to Salvo up the middle. A little bit of room, but not much. Going to make it up to the 39, bring up a 2nd and 8.
William Penn defense starting to stiffen a little bit. Not going to let Salvo do much in the middle of that line. Again, Salvo's not a big kid. He's not the kind of kid who's going to run you over. When they want to go for those short yardage situations, they'll give it to Million. But what Carson Salvo will do is kind of zip through those tackles and pick up 3-4 yards. Find any daylight he can.
Much like his brother Griffin Salvo did
right.
for several years here at Sally's, now playing up at Ursinus. So it's a 2nd and 7, ball on the 39. Give is to Salvo again, and again he is taken down almost at the line of scrimmage by Ernest English of William Penn. Maybe a pickup of 1.
Yeah, not much there for Salesianum that time. And, again, not a single pass coming out of halftime for Salesianum. They're going to have to mix this up at some point. I know that Coach Donardo is loath to throw the ball. He does have a good one in Zach Gwynn. At 3rd and long here, you're probably going to see the ball put up.
So it's going to be 3rd and 7 from the 40-yard line. Sally's lining up 2 wide receivers on the short side of the field. They're on the right hash mark. Donardo goes right to left in motion, I formation. Gwynn drops right back, being chased by the William Penn defense, and he is going to be sacked. First guy in was Christian Charalamu, and that's a huge defensive play by Matt Sable's defense.
That's a great job right there, and Donardo looked right up and yelled at Gwynn, throw it away, as soon as he started walking off toward the sideline. That's a huge sack. Gwynn had multiple opportunities to get rid of it, but you're right, that was the first time we really saw some great pressure from that William Penn defensive line. They tracked that play right from the very beginning. Gwynn got to the right sideline, just nothing there, so good job by the William Penn defense.
Yeah, that's a play that your senior quarterback's got to throw away. Just cost your team about 15 yards here. They're going to punt it away. Gore is going to be back on his own 40-yard line. Cooper Urban, a high snap, does a great athletic move to come down with it. Gore is going to let it bounce. Takes a couple bounces and now a Sally's bounce. They're going to end up downing it on the 36-yard line. So with 6:11 to play, trailing 13-0, William Penn is going to take over on their own 36-yard line.
Boy, the life of a punter, not a single high five for Cooper Urban. If you're not in the stadium, you don't understand how high he had to go to corral that snap. That actually could have been a huge play for William Penn. Instead, he snares it out of the air and gets off a fairly decent punt considering what he was dealing with. William Penn takes over inside their 40-yard line.
So an unsportsmanlike conduct cost Penn on the last series. A ball that should have been thrown away before a sack cost Sally's on this series. We'll see if William Penn is able to correct its mistake. Ogben is in 1st and 10 on his own 36-yard line. 3 wide receivers out to the right, 1 on the slot. Coming this way is Hibbert, and Ogben's going to keep it, try to get around the end, and instead he's going to get taken out of bounds by Colin Fowler.
Yeah, the design of that play was an option for Ogben. He was either going to give the ball off to Matthew Hibbert or keep it himself. He saw that Hibbert was being tracked by a Sally's defender right from the very beginning, so he kept it himself, but unfortunately he also had 3 or 4 Sally's defenders on his tail, just nothing doing. So good job just to get as much as he could, and unfortunately it ends up being a 3-yard loss.
Ogben is not the runner of these 2 quarterbacks.
No,
Gildersleeve is the runner,
yes.
so I'm kind of surprised by that call. Maybe they were trying to catch Sally's off guard as well, but didn't work. Going to bring up a 2nd and 13 on their own 33-yard line. Banks on Ogben's left hip, 3 wide receivers out to the right, and underthrown, trying to get the ball to Gore, falls incomplete and wouldn't have gotten a gain anyway. Going to bring up a 3rd and 13.
Yeah, 3rd and 13 for William Penn. Not a great throw there. As you said, it probably wouldn't have gotten much anyway. But William Penn, you mentioned that he's not the runner. They really need to try to get him into some drop-back situations. They've either had him rolling out or getting rid of it very quickly to the receivers. But he did show a strong arm several times. He had one throw where he threw the ball a little bit further than it needed to be probably, but it was so that it wasn't caught by anybody but his own man. He's showing a good arm.
Comes back to protection, like
yes.
you said, Marty. 3rd and 13. He drops back looking for the protection. Banks throws a nice block. Ogben throws it up. It's really up for grabs right now. Going up again is Hibbert. Hibbert comes down with the ball at the Sally's 35-yard line. A great catch by the center fielder.
I was just going to say Hibbert would make a fantastic baseball player. That is the 2nd time tonight where he's tracked a ball that was kind of thrown up for grabs, and he's been the only one. The defenders weren't able to do it. The other receiver wasn't able to do it, so he's got great recognition from the time the ball leaves the quarterback's hands. 2nd time he's put his team in really good position.
First time was at Concord when 2 weeks ago when he picked up the last play of the game, the fumble by his own teammate and ran it in for the score to give William Penn a last-minute victory over Concord. The give is to Banks. Banks up the middle over the left tackle, breaks away. He's gone. Banks cashes in from the 35-yard line and puts William Penn on the board. They now trail 13-6.
Almost the entire Salesianum defense shifted to the right at the snap as if they thought that handoff was going to go to another running back or a play out to the right flank. Instead, Banks took the hand up right up the middle, and nobody ever touched him. He just ran straight up the middle of the field for a touchdown. So a little bit of falling asleep by the Sally's defense there, and a great job of taking advantage of it by William Penn.
Velasquez is going to come in to attempt the extra point from the 10-yard line, so what will amount to a 20-yard kick. Missed the 31-yard field goal, had plenty of leg, just missed it out to the right. Noah Ogben is in on the hold. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is up. And it is good. So with 5:24 to play here in the 3rd quarter, a 35-yard touchdown run by Nazir Banks, his 6th of the season, pulls William Penn to within 13-7 with 5:24 to play. You're listening to the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. By senior Nazir Banks to pull William Penn within 13-7, 5:24 to play here at Baynard Stadium. Louis Velasquez getting ready to kick off for the Colonials from his 40-yard line, right to left as we see it. Ball bounces past the Sally's up men. Salvo picks it up at his own 11-yard line, almost steps out of bounds and then gets plowed down by Karan Benton. And so a great kickoff coverage there by William Penn, which is exactly what you're looking for after the momentum comes to your side on that score.
Absolutely. It almost ended up being kind of a squib kick there by Velasquez. Sally's had a hard time picking it up, and then, as you said, Salvo was absolutely blasted by Benton at about the 11-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark it about the 14-yard line. So a really good starting field position here for the William Penn defense. They've made this all of a sudden is a brand new game, and William Penn has all the momentum. If they can shut down Sally's here, get the ball back in nice field position.
I formation for Sally's as Zach Gwynn is under center. Million the up back to give us to Salvo, and he gets tripped up and going to pick up maybe a yard. Looks like they're going to mark it at about the 15.5-yard line.
That was unfortunate for Carson Salvo. I don't know who they're going to credit that tackle to, but he tripped over somebody, whether it was his own man or one of the William Penn defenders. No one actually stuck an arm out, and he had some running room in front of him. There was no one in front of him for a good 5 to 10 yards at least. So an opportune tackle there by the turf monster for William Penn.
And the ball is going to be marked on the 16-yard line. Moving left to right as we see it. It's a fake to Salvo, and Gwynn's going to keep it and run the other direction across the 20, 25, looking for a block. Gets pulled down from behind. A nice tackle there by Hibbert, but not until Salvo picked up the first down at about the 29-yard line.
Now, the one thing I love about that play call from Sally's is they do it so infrequently that it really does come as a surprise. 9 times out of 10, Gwynn hands that ball off. He keeps it maybe once, twice a half, and when he does, if you catch the defense napping like he did there, it ends up being a big first down for Sally's right when they needed one.
On the 29-yard line is where they're going to mark it. Sally's with a 13-7 lead, 4:25 to play. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan on the Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week. I formation. This time they give it to Salvo. He dances by one tackler and then is brought down by Isaiah Green at the 35-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd and 4.
We've seen Banks at his best. That's Salvo at his best, just picking his way through traffic as he tries to get 4 or 5 yards at a clip, which he's done even better than that for the regular season. He's one of those kids that can break one every now and then, but more often than not, he's going to zip through, pick you up a better part of 5 or 6 yards.
They push it up to about the 36-yard line is where they end up spotting it, so it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 3. Gwynn under center. The give is to Banks, and Banks across the 50. I'm sorry, Million, 40, 40, 35, 30. He could go all the way. He's in. So just like that, Garrett Million returns the favor and scampers for a 64-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, I talked about the Gwynn run where they do it so infrequently. They do the same thing with Million on those fullback right up the middle. You expect them to go off to the side with Salvo. All of a sudden they hit you right up the middle with Million. And again, you catch a defense snapping a little bit, kind of like William Penn caught Sally's. All of a sudden, Million's out in the open ground. And I'll tell you what, he showed some really good speed there because William Penn did try to track him down. He got a nice block at the end, but great job by Garrett Million.
Yeah, as we talked about in the pregame show, Sally's always has the tailback who can obviously run and the fullback who does a great job blocking, but when he does get his hands on the ball, has the ability to have breakaway speed, just like Million did on that 64-yard touchdown run. So Sally's now going for 2 to make up for that blocked extra point. They're in the I formation, and it's a fake to Million, and wide open in the end zone is Bryson, and Gwynn finds him for the 2-point conversion to make it 21-7. So with 3:35 left to play here in the third quarter, 2 quick scores, 1 for each team, and the score is now 21. Salesianum, William Penn 7. You're listening to Fox Sports 1290 Game of the Week and watching it live on 302 Sports. In 13-7, Sally's returns the favor, and on the 4th play of their nice drive, Million runs it 64 yards for a score. The 2-point conversion makes it 21-7. 28-7 with 3:35 to play. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on Fox Sports 1290, and those of you joining us on the live stream of 302 Sports. Cooper Irvin, the lefty, all-state kicker, first-team all-state last year as a junior, getting ready to kick it off to William Penn. Last couple have been touchbacks. This time Gore is going to take it on his own 4-yard line. He's going to cut across to the far side of the field, running away from us, across the 25 to the 30, and brought down just as he crossed over the 30-yard line. This is a big offensive series for William Penn, Marty.
It really is. All of a sudden, just like that, the momentum has shifted back to Salesianum. Not only do they score the touchdown, but it comes on a big play that gets the crowd into the game. Then they get the 2-point conversion. All of a sudden, William Penn finds itself down 14 points right after they had just been feeling pretty good about their position in this game. So you're right. This is a huge series for William Penn.
William Penn 3-3 on the season, 2-2 in the Blue Hen Conference. This, of course, a non-conference game. A lot of people think, including us, they probably need to win this game to have a really good shot at the playoffs. They've got a relatively easy schedule the rest of the way, with all due respect to those opponents. Ogden fires it out to Hibbert, who gets it on the jet screen, gets it at the 30-yard line, scampers up to the 35 before he's brought down on a nice tackle by Joseph Gormley. So a pickup of about 4.
That's a great job by Joseph Gormley. He's a senior linebacker. He's made a ton of plays over his 4 years for the Sally's team. We haven't heard much of him tonight, but that was a great job because Hibbert was in a one-on-one situation. If he gets away from Gormley, he probably goes for at least a first down.
They're on the left hash mark, moving right to left as we see it. 2:56 to play here in the third quarter. Penn trails Sally's 21-7, but has the ball, trying to put together another drive. Just scored on their last possession. Took only 4 plays. It's a quick out. Ogben to Gildersleeve. Gildersleeve coughs it up, and it looks like Sally's fell on it. They say they have. The officials have not made the call yet. Could also question whether he ever had possession of that ball, but I don't think that's what they're going to discuss, and it's not. And so it's going to be a turnover on the fumble by Gildersleeve, a big turnover for William Penn.
We talked about how important this series was. Nothing worse could have happened than that, a turnover for William Penn. They've run that play a number of times tonight, both to the right and left side, where they're throwing it. The receiver takes a couple steps back from the line of scrimmage, takes the pass. We've seen Gildersleeve in a situation where it was going to be a double pass. This wasn't one of those, but I'd say the same thing as you, John. I think if we had instant replay, I'm not 100% sure he had that long enough to qualify as a catch.
He certainly didn't make a football move.
No, he
and
didn't.
Again, that's not necessarily a rule here at this level, but you could argue that probably was maybe dropped rather than fumbled. But either way, the argument's over. DiNardo goes in motion from right to left. It's a fake to Carson. Play action pass. Gwynn is looking in the end zone. He's got his man, and there he is once again. Rick Bryson hauls it in for the score.
John, I told you before we went on the air tonight that they have a tight end named Bryson, who they never throw the ball to. Ryan Bryson, number 7, a senior, 6'1", 220. He goes out on routes. He never gets targeted. Tonight he's caught a 2-point conversion and a long touchdown pass from Zach Gwynn. The kid has great hands. He runs a good route. Presents a big target for Zach Gwynn, who put that ball right on the money.
And a good call by you. It is Ryan Bryson, not Rick Bryson, one of the traffic guys here local. That's what I wondered all week. I wonder if that's any relation to Rick Bryson. And, of course, I get a chance to call his first name and call him Rick Bryson when it really was Ryan Bryson. Either way, a great pass and catch on the play action pass. 29-yard score for Sally's. They have a 27-7 lead. Cooper Urban is in on the extra point. Salvo will be the holder. The hike is back. Ball is down. The kick is up. And it is good. So with 2:30 to play here in the third quarter at Baynard Stadium, Salesianum has extended its lead to 28-7. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Hi, I'm Scott Kammerer from Solo Concepts. Solo Concepts is an award-winning restaurant group on the culinary coast with 10 locations. We're a chef-driven group. Come check us out. See you soon. Solo Concepts believes in the vision of our founder, Matt Haley. Cook beautiful, simple food, develop the people we work with, and make the world a better place. Solo Concepts on the culinary coast with 10 locations from Lois, Delaware to Fenwick Island. Come check us out.
Salesianum has extended its lead to 28-7 with 2:30 to play here in the third quarter. 4 different folks have scored for Sally's: Carson Salvo, Zach Gwynn, Million, and Gwynn to Bryson. So 4 scores. Talk about sharing the ball, Marty.
That's right. This Salesianum offense has really shown a lot of variety tonight, something that they really haven't shown much of this season. So it's been a really great showing, something on film to give the opponent something else to think about as this season moves forward. But they've done a great job all around, running the ball, throwing the ball.
Cooper Urban getting ready to kick off. Another deep kickoff. Looks like Gore is going to take this on his own 5-yard line, right smack between the hash marks, across the 15 to the 20 around the right side. Tries to cut it up on the sideline and got about basically where he got last time. Going to mark it at the 27-yard line where William Penn will take over. If they weren't in a must-score situation before, Marty, I certainly think with time running out here in the third quarter, down by 3 scores, you got to put something together.
Oh
here.
Yeah, they're getting into they're getting close to must-score territory here. They've got to get something going to reestablish some momentum. Even if they don't get any points here, they got to start to get something going to get it going into the fourth quarter. I mean, 21 points is not a small deficit with this offense. They haven't been explosive at all this season, so this is going to be an uphill climb.
And you've also got a Sally's offense. If and when they get the ball back, they obviously will get it back, whether or not William Penn scores or not. They can kill clock like no other team in the state of Delaware. A quick jet screen to Hibbert again on the left side. Hibbert picks up a few yards. Mark it at the 33-yard line. Going to bring up a 2nd and 3.
We've seen them try to run that screen multiple times tonight. It hasn't worked out a lot of time. That time it was perfectly executed. Ogwin got the ball right where it was supposed to be. Turns into a nice 8-yard gain, so a good start to the drive for William Penn.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 3 on the 33-yard line. Ball moved now closer to the left hash mark. William Penn moving right to left as we see it. 3 wide receivers out to the right. We've seen this formation much of the night. Banks is right on Noah Ogben's hip, and he's going to get the ball. And this time he's going to be brought down in the backfield by Casey Spink, the big 6'2", 230-pound offensive tackle. Came into the game with 32 tackles and 3 sacks.
Yeah, Casey Spink is another kid who's had a great career here that we really haven't had a chance to talk about a lot tonight. The defensive line hasn't made a lot of plays for Salesianum. It looks like we have Gormley is down on one knee and having the trainer attend to him.
And he pops right up and is going to head out. That's Dr. Zerba, longtime Sally's trainer, Delaware resident here. I believe he's a Sally's graduate himself. Bill DeMardo making sure he doesn't get charged a timeout for that. He did come out onto the field before he was called out, but smart move by the not smart move, common sense move by the refs not to charge him with a timeout there. So it's going to still be 3rd and 5, a minute to play here in the third quarter. Ogben rolls out to his right, fires to the sideline looking for Hibbert, who makes a nice catch, going to pick up the first down.
Yeah, they've really found something here with Hibbert. Ogben and he seem to have some kind of repertoire or rapport they're building up on the practice field, because that's a number of times that Ogben has targeted Hibbert, and he's come up big a few times. He's tracked the ball well when it hasn't been thrown particularly well and moved to come back to the ball. That time he goes up top to snare that and get a first down. So nice job by Hibbert trying to give some offense to this William Penn team that desperately needs it.
1:10 to play here in the third quarter. 28-7 lead for Salesianum. William Penn picks up a first down on their own 38-yard line, and this time it's a give on a misdirection to Gore. He gets across the 40-yard line, and it gets brought down hard by Bryson. After a pickup of about 3, they're going to mark it at the 41.
Wow, Bryson's really making a name for himself tonight. He has been all over the field. Generally speaking, on defense, he's been one of Sally's blitzers, edge blitzers throughout the season, but he did a great job staying home on that misdirection play, as you called it, and it brings down the ball carrier in a one-on-one situation and bring up a second long for William Penn.
At the 41-yard line is where they're going to mark it. It's on the right hash mark for William Penn. They're going to send 3 wide receivers out to the left side here. That's Hibbert, Gilbersleeve, and Gore. Banks is on the left hip of Ogben, who is in the pistol formation. Takes the snap, rolls out to the left side, looking for a block from Banks. Fires out to Hibbert. Hit his man again, and is going to be down at the 45-yard line. A nice tackle there by Carson Salvo as soon as Hibbert caught the ball, but it's going to set up a 3rd and 3.
Boy, if I'm the Sally's defensive coordinator, I'm just yelling out the number 5 at this point, because Ogben really is zeroing in on Hibbert because he's been such a reliable target all night long. And to Ogben's credit, he's been really on target recently. We've seen he has the arm. Looks like we're going to bring the end of the third quarter, a little momentum.
And it sure is, and that brings us to the end of the third quarter. William Penn putting together a couple nice plays here, a couple first downs, but still trails Sally 28-7. We'll be right back for the fourth quarter here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvement's pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
Has the ball 3rd and 3 on their own 45-yard line as we start the fourth quarter. Sally's with a 28-7 lead. John Busby, along with Marty Sheehan, Ronnie Vickers, back in the studio. I want to give a big thanks to our partner, NKN Films, for their outstanding design on our 2017 high school football schedule poster. Visit nknfilms.com for all your video needs. Same formation we've seen most of the quarter, most of the game. In fact, 3 wide receivers out to the right on the long side of the field. Ogben in the shotgun position, and he hands it off to Banks, who's on his right hip. Banks sprints up the middle. Nobody is going to catch him. Banks, a 55-yard touchdown run.
Wow, Banks, that was identical to Banks' last touchdown run, where it was just a quick hitter right up the middle. Nothing special about it. The William Penn offensive line did a fantastic job opening a huge hole between the center and the left guard, and Banks was gone. He's got some great speed for a kid with his size. But for the second time, he goes in untouched from way out. Just a really nice job. And if you're the Sally's defense, you've got to be frustrated that you're allowing a run right up the middle to be broken for that.
Last time it took 6 plays before he rattled off that 35-yard run. I'm sorry, 4 plays. This time 6 plays for the 55-yard run. And what a great start to the fourth quarter. And it's 28-13. Louis Velasquez is in to try to make it 28-14. Ogben on the hold. The snap is back. The hold is down. The kick is up. Almost blocked there, but it's not, and instead it is good. So with 11:52 to play, we're going to take our final break of the second half. Sally's 28, William Penn 14 here on Fox Sports 1290 and 302 Sports.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 6161 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 6161.
Welcome back to the Delaware High School football game of the week on Fox Sports 1290.
A 6-play, 74-yard drive capped off by the first play of the fourth quarter. A 55-yard touchdown run straight up the middle by Nazir Banks, his second long run of the night. His other, a 35-yarder. Louis Velasquez extra point made it 14 for William Penn. So they're still down by 2 scores, but certainly have a little bit more momentum on their side as Velasquez gets ready to kick off. And he's going to do sort of a short pooch punt there, or kick, I should say. DiNardo fields it at the 25 and gets dumped by Hibbert right at the 30-yard line. So Sally's will take over there.
Nice job by Hibbert there. You know, I looked down while Banks was in the middle of streaking down the field to see Coach DiNardo's reaction, and he was kind of staring at the ground and shaking his head as if to say, you've got to be kidding me. With a 28-7 lead, we let a close to, a big running back right up the middle of the field, untouched, go for a touchdown, 55 yards, when we're trying to protect the lead. And
it's not like there's a plethora of running backs who have run the football tonight for William Penn. If they're in run formation, Banks has been getting the ball. Speaking of run formation, it's an I formation, and getting the ball up the middle at the tailback position is trying to pick up a number there. I think it was Jesse Wheatley. We'll see when they unpile. And yes, it was Jesse Wheatley carrying the ball for the first time, and what a carry it was, a first down to the 41-yard line.
Yeah, Wheatley doing a really nice job out of the backfield. It's been Carson, Salvo, and Millian all night long. Wheatley, a great job there going off the left tackle, picking up a first down for Sally's. Right now, you want to control the clock and move the football for your Sally's, and that's a great start.
Joe Wesselman also making an appearance, the senior, and the give is to Wesselman over the 40 and tackled down at the 43-yard line. And in on the tackle was number 59, Aldrich Brown, who came in with 33 tackles and 3 sacks on the game. Going to bring up a 2nd and 8.
Wesselman's a senior, 5'7", 180 pounds, and he grasped that football as if he'd been told that he'd be killed if he dropped it. He was holding that thing with 2 hands so tight. I love to see that. He didn't get much on the carry, but he wasn't going to lose that thing.
So interesting. Salvo, the starting tailback, not in. Million, the starting fullback, not in. The give is to Wheatley, and Wheatley's going to pick up another first down. Gore trying to drag him down and does, but not until he picks up the first down. Gildersleeve also in on the tackle, going to be into William Penn territory at the 47.
Sally's line is doing a great job with seal-off blocks on the end of the left side of that line, and Wheatley has done a fantastic job taking advantage of it, not missing a beat, getting to the side, sweeping around the end, and picking up another first down. So Wheatley, great change of pace here for Sally's.
It's safe to say that these two guys, Wesselman and Wheatley, would start in several backfields in the state of Delaware. Bryson goes in motion right to left, and that causes William Penn to jump off sides. It looks like Bradley Sisler is going to be the guilty party there, so it's going to be a free 5 yards for Sally.
Yeah, Bradley Sisler was okay until his helmet tapped the helmet of the Sally's offensive lineman across from him. At that point, he kind of looked up like, oh, boy.
Yep, there we go. So it's going to move the ball to the 42-yard line, and it's going to be 1st and 5 for Sally's as Million comes back in, and Joe Wesselman heads to the sideline.
And, John, this is a huge drive for the William Penn defense. They've got to stop. They can't allow any points in the fourth quarter.
Wesselman looks like he's hurt. Not sure if he's I'm not sure what's wrong with him. He's crouched over, and that's why he came out. Wheatley again with a nice move and fends off Gore, fumbles the ball, but then falls right on it. Actually picks up a couple more yards, so going to push it up to the 32-yard line. Going to be another first down, so the 3rd first down run for Wheatley.
Yeah, Wheatley's done a really good job. Coming into this game, he's only had 21 carries on the season, but you can tell he wants to make the most of them. He is really going all out as he goes around. He's going around the left end all 3 times. He's touched the ball and done a really nice job. Picked up a first down all 3 times.
1st and 10 on the 32, 9:52 to play. Sally's with a 28-14 lead and driving without their 2 starting backfield players in the game. Million, as I say, that Million back in the game, takes the handoff and pushes his way up to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, that Million making his way back into the game. Again, we haven't seen Carson Salvo. Should say again, just for folks listening in, that Carson Salvo was it looked like he was getting deathly sick before the game, whether it was something he ate or what, but he looked very weak. He didn't look well at all, and then played fairly well in the first half for the way we saw him. It looks like maybe getting a little break here, and with Wheatley doing the job he's doing, you can't blame the coach for making that change.
I formation, and it's Wheatley, the tailback, and he gets the ball and powers his way up, and he's going to get up to the 25-yard line, and that will set up a 3rd and short, probably about a 3rd and 3.
The Sally's ball carriers have to be mindful now. Wheatley, the last 3 times he's carried over the left side, the William Penn ball carriers the defenders have tried to strip the ball away from him. As I mentioned before, jokingly, Wesselman had a death grip on the ball. It's something the Sally's runners have to keep in mind now. William Penn's going to start going for the strip.
On the left hash mark on the 25-yard line of William Penn, Sally's has a 3rd and 2. I formation, 2 men out to the right. Bryson goes in motion right to left. The give is to Wheatley again. He picks up another first down across the 20-yard line, takes about 5 William Penn players, and now Bryson comes in to try to push the pile forward, and a nice job by the officials blowing the whistle there, and a nice job by both teams just breaking up that scrum, but it's going to be a first down, so Wheatley with his 4th first down run of this series.
Yeah, Wheatley is just having an amazing drive here. I mean, he's coming into the game filling in for Salvo and just done a fantastic job. He came into the game with only 82 rushing yards on the season. John, he's got to be close to 35 or 40 just alone on this drive. He's done a really nice job, and now we have a penalty apparently on Salesianum.
Yeah, they're marching I don't know whether it's going to be an unsportsmanlike that came out of that scrum. It is going to be a personal foul against chop block.
Yeah.
Now, it's still not going to be one that Bill DiNardo is going to like. That is their 6th of the night, 1st of the second half, and that's going to drive them back to the 39-yard line.
That's unfortunate. That's almost always never on purpose. It's just a case where a lineman is engaged and gets blocked by someone else below the waist.
It's 3rd and 16. DiNardo goes in motion left to right. It's a play-action pass, And Gwynn rolls out. Now he's going to run it up the middle, but he gets taken down at the 30-yard line, so he's going to be short of the first down. A nice tackle there by Ryan Cole.
That was a nice job by Ryan Cole. Gwynn decided he wasn't going to throw the ball, and then with a full head of steam took off up the field as if he was going to do everything he could to get that first down. This is 4-down territory for Salesianum with a 14-point lead. If they punt the ball, they figure they're not going to gain much in field position, so they'll take their shot and see if they can make something happen. They'd love to keep the ball here, keep this clock moving.
The clock is moving at 7:35. Sally's with a 28-14 lead, 4th and 8, and a flag comes in. Not sure if this is an illegal substitution. They threw the flag before either team was set up at the line. And they're having a discussion right now. Sally's is moving back, but only moving back to where they would line up. Now they're moving further back.
Wow, an unsportsmanlike conduct. You know, that was called from the referee who was 10 yards behind the William Penn defense. So he obviously heard something said when the teams got to the line of scrimmage. But, wow, again, really uncharacteristic of a Bill DiNardo coach team. And, you know, that's not something he's going to stand for very long. He's barking right now.
Yeah, it's an unsportsmanlike conduct, one in each half, that has cost them significant yardage. And, you know, thinking back to that first quarter, the first couple series, Bill DiNardo was pulling guys out.
Yes.
He was not happy with the way things were going, and it was almost like he was sending a message that they team didn't come to play, is what you were thinking. They were making penalties unlike them. Same person, 2 offsides in a row before a ball was even snapped. A hold and unsportsmanlike conduct. Questionable pass interference call. I'm going to give that to them. But anyway, 2 unsportsmanlike conducts.
And this did change their mind, the Salesiano's mind, and this is the smart move to punt this ball now. You're back to the 45-yard line of William Penn. You definitely want to pin their offense a little deeper than this.
Especially up 2 scores, and Cooper Urban's going to punt it away. Gore is going to let it bounce. I think I might have come up and got that.
Wow.
And I think his coach would agree with me right now as Sally's downs it on the 5-yard line. That was Brian Wilcox, and a nice play there to make sure that ball didn't go into the end zone. So William Penn trailing by 2 scores, 7:11 to play. They're going to take the ball over on the 5-yard line. We'll see if they're able to put something together here.
Well, we talked about them getting close to must-score territory. They're now in must-score territory, as much for the fact as time on the clock as where they are on the field. You've got 95 yards to go, and I know if you're Bill DiNardo and the defensive staff, you've told them if number 40 breaks through this line and scores a touchdown, there's going to be heck to pay this week.
He scored on a 35-yarder up the middle and a 55-yarder up the middle. Was barely touched on either one. Snap goes over Ogman's head into the end zone, covered by Salvo.
Wow.
Touchdown.
Amazing play. I actually thought that was going to roll out of the back of the end zone. Instead, Salvo falls on top of it just before it makes its way out of the back of the end zone. The snap was well over the head of Noah Ogman. Was not his fault at all. The first bad snap we've seen from William Penn all night, but Carson Salvo falls on top of it. Johnny on the spot, another touchdown, and basically that wraps it up for Salesianum.
And so a score by Salesianum. It's 34-14 with 7:04 to play. And on the kick, an extra point is Cooper Urban. It would be his 20th extra point of the season. Salvo is in on the hold. Cooper Urban lining it up, takes 2 steps to the right. It's going to be a 20-yard extra point. The snap is back. Low hold, but he gets it down. Nice job by Salvo. The kick is up, and it is good.
Great job by Salvo.
With 7:04 to play, Salesianum has taken a 35-7 lead on the fumble recovery in the end zone. We're going to take our final break. You're listening to the Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports.
Here's what you missed on the day.
Can you check Tressolini and see if it was Salvo? Or was it? Did you see Salvo? I thought it was. Yeah.
Let's see.
Unique Image opened for business in Wilmington, Delaware in 1979 with one focus, wowing our customers with great products and even greater customer service. 30 years later, we are still doing exactly that. Whether you're looking for marketing tools to promote your business, gifts for your employees or clients, or planning a special event, we're here with the voice of experience to help you every step of the way for your complete satisfaction. Visit our new showroom in the Mill Creek Shopping Center, 4577 Kirkwood Highway. Unique Image, you envision, we create. Unique Image.
Here at Baynard Stadium with 7:04 to play. So the tide has completely turned here. Despite 2 long runs by Nazir Banks for William Penn, Sally's answered both times with touchdowns of their own to keep this lead extended 35-14 with 7:04 to play here in the fourth quarter. Cooper Urban getting set to kick off for the Sals, and back deep for William Penn is Cornell Boatwright and Jared Gore. Cooper fires away, splits right to it. Boatwright's going to get it on his own 10. He's coming up to the 20 around the edge and trying to cut it up, and gets taken down from behind. A nice tackle there by Brendan Pacheco, and William Penn is going to have the ball on the 28-yard line, trying to put something together here to salvage some points.
And we're trying to get some confirmation on who actually jumped on that ball in the end zone. No one has actually tweeted about it yet. It's a little dark in the back part of that end zone, so it's a little hard to see. John, just real quick, and a huge upset brewing. AI, the number 2 ranked team in the state, is down 36-20 to Howard midway through the fourth quarter. So a huge development there for an AI team that was looking to be firing on all cylinders.
They had a perfect season in the making, and if I look correctly, had 3 games that are very winnable for them. So Howard may take that perfect season right away. Banks gets the handoff around the right side and is going to get up to about the 31-yard line for William Penn.
Yeah, that was an interesting call. I'm not sure. That almost felt like a white flag type call, a little try to run off tackle there with Banks. It'd be interesting to see. I'm guessing with Marvin Dooley as the head coach, William Penn's not done trying to punch this thing in the end zone. They've got a huge hill to climb and not much time to do it. But Ogden has shown a really strong arm tonight. Hibbert has done a really nice job out on the edges. So this is an offense that's looked better tonight than I thought they would. They've only scored 14 points, but they still look better than I thought. 2nd and 7. Ogden's got it back. He's looking to his left. He rolls out, fires to the sideline, and to one of the coaches on the sideline, going to be incomplete, going to bring up a 3rd and 8. Yeah, unfortunately for Ogden, just nothing there. And they're actually, I believe they may be calling that a lateral, as the referee is look like he's marking that ball back a little bit. Oh, now he's moved it back up to the original spot. Yeah, Ogden, he's done a really nice job when he's gotten time tonight. He's shown the arm to make all the throws. As I said, Hibbert has shown that he can do something out on the flanks. If they can get a few more weapons besides, of course, the big home run and the big guy Banks in the backfield, they could start to do some things with this offense, but I think they may have found a quarterback, John, in Noah Ogden. I agree. We have confirmation from 2 sources that it was Garrett Million who did recover that fumble in the end zone. So a long pass from Ogden. He's got his man Hibbert again across the 20, 10. He's going to go in. A 69-yard touchdown score from Ogden, the quarterback you just talked about, the future of the Blue Hens, to Matt Hibbert. We just talked about it. Ogden has done a great job tonight, and Hibbert has been his favorite target. They hook up there. Ogden just kind of threw that up as far as he could down the left sideline. Hibbert made it, again, the center fielder in Hibbert, I don't know if he plays baseball or not. He did a great job because he had to look over the other shoulder to make that catch. He kept the focus to do that, stayed in bounds, and then outran the Sally's defense to the end zone. So some really good bright spots going to come out of this for William Penn. Too little, too late, most likely, as it's 35-20 with 5:58 to play. Ogden will be the holder. Louis Velasquez in for the extra point. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is good. So we're going to keep it right here with 5:58 to play. The score is Salesianum 35, William Penn 21. So, this game is going to, right now, it's probably not as close as the score might appear. At least you could say that. We'll see if that changes here with 5:58 left to play. AI has been defeated. That is a final now. Howard has given AI its first loss ever in Division II. They, of course, made the move down to Division II this year. So that is a final. Middletown has won 27-14. They went up to Upper Darby tonight in a game a lot of people weren't really sure what to expect from the Upper Darby team, so nice to see Middletown representing Delaware well, coming out with the win. Still looking for a Smyrna score. That game was close. It was tied 14-all with Dover in the second quarter. Haven't seen an update since then, so try to get people updated on what's going on with the Smyrna Eagles. The Howard score was 36-20, and so a big win. That's impressive. For the Wildcats. That AI defense had done a really nice job this season. I'm shocked to see them give up 36 points to Howard. Howard moves to 5-2 on the season, 4-0
in Flight B. So the most important thing about that is if they can win that conference, they get the automatic berth into the Division II playoffs, which traditionally it's always a hodgepodge of 15 teams. And on Sunday morning of Selection Day, they figure out who is going to be in the playoffs. Could be one of these two teams. Sally seems to be a lock. Right now, William Penn needs a miracle here to further get the hopes up that they will make it to the playoffs. The kickoff is taken at the 10 by Wheatley. He's done a little bit of everything. He brings it out to the 21-yard line where Sally's will take over with 5:51 to play.
And if you're Sally's, the mission here is simple. Hold on to the ball, move the chains, keep the clock going. You don't want to go out of bounds. You don't want any incomplete passes. You certainly don't want to turn the ball over. It's still a 14-point difference, but that 14-point difference can evaporate quickly in the face of a turnover. So the mission for this Sally's offense is simple. Just keep moving the chains and stay in bounds.
My apologies. Ball's actually marked at the 27-yard line. Two wide receivers out to the right, I formation. The give is to the fullback, and that is Wheatley, who once again picks up another first down. Every time this kid touches the ball, he picks up a first down.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I think that's the 5th time he's carried the ball, and all 5 times has been a first down. I mean, as I said, he came into this game with 82 yards. He's got to be up near 55, 60 yards at this point. He has done a fantastic job in place of Griffin Salvo in the second half.
Only a junior, so the future is bright in the backfield for Salesianum. Jesse Wheatley, only a junior. Sean Regan, only a junior. So a couple skills guys who have a year left. And around the end is Wheatley. This time he doesn't pick up a first down, gain of about 3 across the 40 to the 41-yard line.
That was the first time somebody actually went low on him as he came around the corner, and that was Isaiah Gaynor, who's now engaging in some trash talk with some guys on the Salesianum side, as he was the first one to keep Wheatley from getting a first down on the play. So nice job there by Isaiah Gaynor, who's been one of the better players for William Penn over the last couple seasons.
Going to bring up a 2nd and 7 on the 41-yard line for Salesianum. I formation, 2 wide receivers out to the left. That's DiNardo and Regan. The give is to the fullback. That's Wheatley, and he gets pulled down behind the line of scrimmage. We'll give him a forward momentum. Actually, going to give him a loss of 1 to the 40. William Penn says they've got the ball, but Wheatley was called down. Looks like he might have hurt his right arm. He's going to have to come out of the game. Salvo coming in for Wheatley. That'd be a shame for Wheatley if he got hurt.
That would be a shame. Wheatley's done a fantastic job in relief of Griffin Salvo, who's now going to report back into the game. But it looks like William Penn may have figured out a little bit the Wheatley show as he comes around the left side on every one of his carries or around left tackle. They figured him out the last 2 times.
William Penn's going to take their first time out of the second half with 4:39 to play. We're going to keep it right here. Sally's with a 35-21 lead, and the ball a 3rd down and 8 coming up at their own 40-yard line. Don't forget to stay tuned after the game for the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show, when we'll recap all of tonight's action, announce our Crown Trophy player of the game, and give you a preview of our game next week on Fox Sports 1290. Special Olympics Delaware is always looking for qualified coaches or former players wanting to coach the next sports season is basketball. It takes just 2 hours a week for 8 weeks to make a difference. For more information, visit SODE.org. So coming out of the timeout, Sally's has the ball. 3rd and 8 on the 40-yard line. 4:39 to play here in the 4th quarter. 35-21. Sally's, just when they seem to be pulling away, William Penn strikes back with 3 big plays here in the second half. And it's a play-action pass. The fake is to Salvo, and Gwynn is going to take off around the right side, cuts it back up, picks up the first down, gets into William Penn territory, and they're going to mark it at about the 47-yard line, a huge first down for Sally.
You know what? That was a fantastic and very heady play by Zach Gwynn as he headed out around the right sideline. He looked like he was headed out of bounds. He cut it back in and went down to make sure the clock keeps rolling as soon as they remark these first down chains. So really smart play. And again, I love how judicious they are with the use of that quarterback, that naked bootleg. They've used it 3 times tonight. All 3 times, Gwynn has taken it for big yardage. So kudos to Sally's for the offensive game plan tonight. You know, a lot of people are going to look at this score and say, how the heck did these 2 teams score this many points?
3 big plays for William Penn for their 3 scores. Sally's has done it the Sally's way, grinded out a little bit, couple passes here and there. DiNardo goes in motion left to right, and the give is to Salvo, the tailback, and he drives it up the middle. Is going to get to about the 41-yard line, going to bring up a 2nd and 5.
Salvo doing A little picking and grinning there, just kind of making his way through the mess of the big bodies, getting 5 yards, and they're doing exactly what we said. That was a huge conversion there. A great job by Salesianum of knowing what to do when you're trying to salt this thing away. The play calling by the Salesianum coaches has been fantastic. They're starting to move this thing down, and they're going to come out of here. This is a really impressive win for Salesianum. This is going to be a real confidence boost for them.
Those coaches are Bob McGonigal, Paul Salvo, Anthony Spadaccini, and David Willard, all listed as varsity assistant coaches on the Salesianum website. Referees blew the whistle, not sure why. It's going to be 2nd and 5. Their reset balls on the 41-yard line. I formation for Sally's. That's Bryson who goes in motion from right to left. The give is to Salvo. He works his way over the left tackle, trying to escape, but a nice tackle there by William Penn's Isaiah Gaynor, the all-state defensive back, but not until Salvo picked up a first down at the William Penn 33.
Sally's is just trying to run the ball up the middle. William Penn is trying to shut that middle down, and what happens is it allows the Sally's runners, if they don't get taken down with that first tackle, it allows them to bounce it outside a little bit. That time, Salvo, good job to get outside, pick up the first down before he was taken down.
2:58 and running. Sally's with a 35-21 lead here late in the fourth quarter at Boehner Stadium. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. I formation. Bill DiNardo's son, Mike, goes in motion left to right. The give is to Salvo, who follows the block. He gets around the right end, pickup of about 3.
And Salvo, that was a nice job. He saw that play wasn't going to go for much yardage and decided to just bail out and hit the ground, keep the clock moving, forcing William Penn to take another timeout.
And William Penn is going to take a timeout. It's going to be 2nd down, 2:36 to play, 35-21 lead for Salesianum. I have William Penn as taking 2 of their 3 timeouts as they huddle up over there with their coaching staff. And Bill DiNardo does the same here with Sally's coaching staff. Sally's has left on their schedule Westminster High School down in Maryland next Friday night at 7 o'clock. And then a big one right here against Smyrna. Remember that shootout of a couple years ago. I'm not sure we're going to see that again ever, but it will be a good game that Friday night. We're actually off that Friday night because we're doing the Concord Middletown game Saturday morning, and we've already talked about whether we'll watch it on 302 Sports maybe at our respective homes, or maybe come out and watch some of the game here. And then they end the game, of course, with a rivalry game at St. Mark's. St. Mark's, I think, one of the best Division II teams in the state.
Agreed.
Will be interesting what's on the line that night, whether it's a bye possibly for Sally's, for St. Mark's maybe playing for a home field advantage. 2nd down, and the handoff is to Salvo. He's trying to get around the left side to the 30, 25, one man to beat, and gets pushed out of bounds at about the 15-yard line for William Penn. That was Kyrese Pettiford who drove Salvo out of bounds, but not until he picked up another first down.
Great job again by Salvo. Again, that play was designed to go up the middle, but Salvo, as soon as he took the handoff, saw that everyone had converged in the middle of the field and decided to take it around the left corner. Great job to outrun the defense. The only quibble you might have that play is you might like to see him cut that back and slide and just keep that ball in bounds. But all things considered, you set up shop at the 15-yard line with a first down.
4th first down of the drive. Bill DiNardo's got to be happy. He might call this one of the best drives of the game right now. Bushweller is in, and he is in motion left to right from the left slot to the right. Has a block for Salvo, but Salvo can't take advantage of it. Gets taken down. Gaynor on the tackle. Pickup maybe of 1.
Every now and then, Gaynor's been able to shed the blocker that he's had to deal with once the Salesianum line gets to the second level, and he's been able to knife through. That time, a great job. We saw him take down Wheatley a few plays ago, and this time he cuts through and takes down Carson Salvo before he can get anything, just to gain a 1.
Gain of 1 is going to bring up a 2nd and 9 on the 14. We are under 2 minutes to play, 1:53 to be exact. Sally's with a 35-21 lead. They're going to escape here with a win. I formation. Bryson goes in motion from right to left. The give is to Salvo again over the left tackle, and he's dragged down at about the 10-yard line. See if we can catch the number on the William Penn tackler there. That was number 11, Christian Charalamu. We've called his name a couple times tonight.
And given how classy we know that Bill DiNardo has been over his career, I'm guessing he'll do everything he can just to kind of kill this clock. If they happen to get it into the end zone, it's because one of their runners was able to break through. But, this is one of those cases where Sally's is just going to try to kill this. Both teams hoping to get out of here with no one injured in this last part of the game. But after last week's heartbreak to Middletown, this is a huge comeback for this Sally's team.
It is. They will move to 5-2 on the season. 3rd down here And jumping off sides first was William Penn, and then one of the Sally's offensive linemen moved over. It's going to be one of those ones who moved first or maybe who touched who first. Refs looking at each other. And still no official signal. And here we go. It is going to be offsides against William Penn. So stops the clock and moves the ball. It's going to be the 6th penalty for William Penn, the 3rd of this second half.
As the steady stream of spectators starts toward the exits here at Baynard Stadium, as we wait to see the glow of headlights as they all start to line up outside the visitors' side.
Clock is running, 52 seconds to play. I formation, 1st and 5. Ball on the 5-yard line to give is to Salvo. He's trying to work his way in. He gets stopped at the goal line and pushed backwards. Now, last time we saw this play is where we had to take over.
That's right.
In this situation. There is no fumble. There is no touchdown, and there is going to be no takeover. Instead, it's going to be 2nd and goal with under 30 seconds to play. We'll see what Bill DiNardo does. He sends Zach Gwynn in with the play. Not sure if he's going to have to get a play off here or not.
If he does, I'd be very surprised if they did anything but kneel this.
Bill DiNardo is asking the ref if he needs to get off a play, and he's saying, no, we're not. Yes. And again, what a classy guy Bill DiNardo is. On the other end zone, we got Marvin Dooley as well. 2 classy coaches here tonight, and so a great show of respect by the 30-year veteran Bill DiNardo, who has moved the Sows to 5-2 this season. The clock is all zeros, and it's over here at Baynard Stadium. Your final score, Salesianum 35, William Penn 21. When we come back, it's time for the American Spirit Federal Credit Union postgame show. You've been listening to the High School Football Game of the Week on Fox Sports 1290 and watching it live on 302 Sports. Once again, your final score, Salesianum 35, William Penn 21.
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com.
Welcome back to Baynard Stadium, where Salesianum on reunion weekend has taken down the William Penn Colonials 35-21 in a game that lasted 2 hours and 50 minutes. Salesianum ups its record to 5-2. William Penn falls to 3-4 on the season. It was a 13-0 lead for Salesianum at the half. The teams exchanged punts, and then it was Nazir Banks who sprinted up the middle 35 yards. The extra point was good to pull his team within 13-7. But just like that, on the other end, Million ran 64 yards, and then they converted a 2-point conversion, Gwynn to Bryson, to extend their lead back up to 21-7 with 3:35 left to play in the third quarter. A fumble by William Penn's Gildersleeve led to a 29-yard touchdown pass from Zach Gwynn to Bryson. The extra point was good, and it was 28-7 with 2:30 to play. And just like when you felt that all the momentum had shifted to the Sally side, Nazir Banks did it again, a 55-yard run, untouched up the middle, extra point good, and it was 28-14 early in the fourth quarter. Sally's put together a nice drive, but ended up having to punt, and then there was a fumble recovery on a high snap in the end zone. Garrett Million fell on it with 7:04 to play to make it 35-14. William Penn wasn't done yet, though. A 69-yard hookup from Noah Ogben to Matt Hibbert, a connection that was made quite often with 5:58 to play, made it 35-21, and then Sally's just ran the clock out. So, Matt, a good game, probably not as close as the score indicated. It took 3 big plays for William Penn, but they made the 3 big plays. But it just felt like Sally's, and I think you said this at the beginning when you made your prediction, you felt that it was going to be not a blowout, but that Sally's would always be in control, and that's actually how I felt this entire game.
Yeah, you're right. It was one of those things where the scoreboard looks fairly close, 35-21, but you never got the impression that William Penn was actually in a position to rise up and win the game. Sally's never sort of lost control of the momentum completely. Every time William Penn showed something, Sally's had a big answer. So it kind of went to script the way we thought it would. We knew that coming in, Sally's was the better team, but we knew that William Penn was better than some of the performances we've seen from them on tape, especially, coming off last week's letdown against Hodgson for William Penn. If you're Marvin Dooley, I think you have to be pleased with some of the progress you saw today. And again, I think they found a quarterback for the future in Noah Ogben.
Noah Ogben had a very good game. We, of course, don't have his official stats. I think what impressed me the most, he had some overthrows, he had some underthrows, but he looks poised back there,
does.
and he looks comfortable back there. You can tell when a quarterback doesn't look comfortable, and he certainly does.